get to some fun moments. But sticking with you after this one is what?
Well, just how much things have changed in a week coming off of that sweep against the Giants last Monday. We were all coming into the building just kind of moping and feeling like 3-7. You just lost Victor Robles for most of the summer.
Oh, I was complaining up a storm.
This is bad.
Yeah.
This is very bad. And now, here you are, a week later, you're 8-8. You just took 5 of 6 from your division. It just goes to show how quick things can change in this portion of the season. You're still, you're only 2.5 weeks into this thing, and yet here you are just a game and a half back of the top of the AL West. You just took, like I said, 5 of 6 from Houston and Texas, the teams that I think we've all kind of looked at and said those are going to be your 2 toughest teams, toughest opponents in your division, and you handled them pretty easily over the course of the last week. I mean, you don't want to get too far ahead and be like, oh, everything's fixed, like everything's good, but just kind of observing these last 5 games, there are some patterns you're starting to see with this team that I think are a little more encouraging than things we've seen from them in past seasons.
I agree, and I think the way that they won as well, now I know that this wasn't true for every single game against the Astros. There was, for instance, on Wednesday, which was like maybe their most fun win so far this year. They looked horrible through 7. So you still saw a lot of the same problems. And then I remember Bump and I beginning Thursday's show going, look, it's really, really fun and really exciting, and there's a lot that we really liked about the final couple innings, but there's still clear issues with the bats, with your offense, with all of this.
It felt kind of fluky, that win.
Exactly. This series against the Rangers, I felt like, it's a tiny, tiny microscopic pinpoint of the season, but I felt like I took a little bit more. For instance, I know we've been talking about the offense a ton, but, your starters, you could argue all had kind of like tougher first innings, tougher starts, and then tightened up and like really managed to hold things together and keep it right. That felt like something that was an adjustment, a fix, something you can feel encouraged by. Likewise, your offense was a bit more scattered throughout and a bit more as consistently productive as you can get in baseball with regular base runners, as opposed to everything comes in the 9th.
Yeah, where you would see the majority of runs scored in just one inning. And, yes, it is good to see crooked numbers on the scoreboard, but you would like to, I think, more see sustained offense throughout a game where you're seeing, 5 or 6 different innings where you're putting up runs all throughout your lineup and constantly keeping the pressure on the opponent. That's what we saw on Saturday night when they put up the 9 spot on Texas. Yes, they did get 4 runs in, the 7th inning, capped off by the Tellez double near triple. But still, I think that was the best offensive performance we've seen this season, and definitely the most encouraging as well. But just kind of getting into the numbers, Stacy, ones that I found to be encouraging at this point in the season, the one that I'm most encouraged by is the number of strikeouts this offense has. Just 19th in baseball right now. How often have we had to scroll down to see the Mariners in terms of league leaders in strikeouts?
See, what I always did is you do reverse.
Right.
Highest to lowest, and then they're right there at the top.
Yeah, they're right there at number 30 usually.
I do the same thing for finding Washington on a list of states. You guys got to just start at the bottom.
But they're just 19th right now. They have 27 fewer strikeouts than the Boston Red Sox, who have the most in baseball. That's a full game's worth of outs.
Can I pause you here in your takeaways? Because I do want to just take a second to talk about this. Do you think this is a change in approach? They faced some really good pitchers. I mean, Uvalde is an ace for Texas.
And
I know it wasn't his best
game.
They faced Tarek Schoolball. They've faced good pitchers so far this year.
I wonder if this is maybe some Kevin Seitzer magic that's working a little bit in terms of philosophy. I appreciate not seeing the crooked or the double-digit strikeout numbers. I believe they've only struck out more than double digits or into the double digits 3 times this season.
That is progress.
It is, because, God, there were so many stretches last year. Is he 14, 15,
Yeah, you'd
16.
be like, which 15 strikeout game was that? When you're saying that about your season, it's bad.
But they're 19th in strikeouts. They have the 5th most walks in all of baseball right now, 2nd in stolen bases, and 6th in home runs. Now, the runs themselves haven't necessarily been piling up. I believe they are still in the bottom half in terms of total runs scored. But you're getting more opportunities to swing the bat by cutting down on the strikeouts. You're putting more runners on base with the amount of walks that you get. And then you're also putting those runners in motion, creating a little more havoc on the base paths for your opponents, having to care about them a little bit more. Now, most of those stolen bases came when Robles and Bliss were healthy, but you still have guys that are capable of putting things in motion. Julio, I think, still leads the team in stolen bases. So those stats point to the philosophies that Dan Wilson talked about all offseason long of being like, we want a team that creates havoc on the base pass. We want to put a lot of pressure on opponents. I think these stats are starting to kind of speak to what it is that he wanted to accomplish with this lineup.
Well, and your stats are only a problem if they don't work for you, right? The Mariners don't need to be leading the league in runs. They don't even necessarily need to be a top 10 team in runs scored because what did we keep saying last year? God, if you could just average like 4 runs a game, you'd have so many more wins. You'd be a playoff team. Like if you could just, get a couple extra games where you drive in a runner, maybe just one more runner in scoring position, that ends up being a win because your pitching is so great. The pitching numbers haven't been quite the same this year, though I think you can attribute that to not having Kirby. The bullpen was great, though, through this stretch. So obviously those stats have since kind of righted back in the right direction. But, who needs to score a lot of runs sometimes? The Yankees. You don't have Cole. You know what I mean? Your bullpen is a little off and on. You have a good pitching staff in general, one of the league's better pitching staffs, but you don't have what the Mariners have, per se. So, it's great that you've got these bats that can drive in sometimes 13 runs in a game or some crazy, just ridiculous number. There's a reason we were all talking about torpedo bats to start the season. But, that's your recipe.
Now,
that needs to work for you.
Do you think the increased offense of the weekend – maybe some torpedo bat magic?
God, I hope so.
Whatever it takes.
I hope they gave Rowdy one torpedo bat. They were like, Rowdy, go to town.
If it's still legal, why not? Why are you not doing it?
Yes.
Right?
Use an actual bowling pin. We haven't talked about it.
So when I was growing up, there was this thing called the Vortex Power Bat. It was made by the same people that made the Vortex football, the whistling football, that you just play flyers up with your friends. And it was this bat that was advertised by Mark McGuire, and it was it had this huge barrel on it, and it was just full of air. And they'd give you this, it was almost like a tennis ball to play with, but if you hit it, it would add 100 feet to your regular distance. So we're playing with it in our front yard, and I'm probably 6 or 7 years old, and not necessarily any sort of amazing athlete at that age. But I remember getting thrown the ball with this Vortex Power Bat and just launching it over my neighbor's house.
You were
which was probably
I am Barry Bonds.
Yeah, the house was probably 300 feet from our doorstep. So, I mean, that's a pretty nice fly ball in Major League Baseball. I was 6 or 7 years old, just wow, okay, so I'm going pro, I guess. That's... I wonder if that's what Cal Raleigh felt like this weekend, hitting a home run in all 3 games.
When's the last time as an athlete? 'Cause I will just say almost every I shouldn't say just men. There are many women I've met that think this, but I would say that certainly with 100% consistency, every man I've met in my entire life thought he was going pro until a certain age.
Yeah.
No matter what the sport was. When did you finally go, you know what, I don't think it's for me.
I don't think this is going to go.
I don't think I'm making it to the league.
I would say probably middle school. That's when I was you know what? I don't have what that guy has.
Yeah.
And
some people take a lot longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
so that's good.
There are some people that we have worked with
well into their 30s.
In the past, that are on the other side of mid-30s that still think they can get out there and...
It's never too late.
Yeah.
I'm
not talking about Bump, by the way.
Well, no, because Bump did go pro.
Bump did go pro.
Someone texted in and said we should give some Polanco love as well. Everyone, including me, had lots of doubts about his return, says the 425. Yes.
Oh,
what do you make also about his usage? Obviously, he's getting some relief being pinch hit by Garver, who did get a single the other day, so it worked out. But what have you made of Polanco's start, and particularly how he was over this series?
Well, yeah, he continued to get base hit after base hit. I think it's good that he was available for most of this Texas series. I thought it was interesting, too, that he was taking ground balls at second base over the weekend. Didn't play at second base in any of the games, but I kind of wonder if that maybe is going to be the formula going forward, getting Polanco back at second base rather than having him play third. He did not really assimilate himself to playing third base, and I just think him dealing with the injuries that he has had over the last couple of years, you're just asking more of him by going over to third, and I don't know if that's the right move. Yeah.
Ask what you've made of their defensive adjustments with, like, okay, Master Boney's going to be there, and then we're going to move Dylan around.
I mean,
like, how do you feel about what they've been, the shuffling they've been doing at the infield?
I think right now, Master Boney has played pretty stand-up defense. I think he has played well enough to not worry about him. Now, they did bring up Ben Williamson yesterday, who I assume is going to get some playing time here soon, especially in this upcoming series against the Reds. I believe they have a lefty going on the mound on Tuesday.
And you know how we feel about left-handers. Just disgusting people.
Wow. I disagree. I strongly disagree, as I'm holding my pen in my left hand right now.
They're freaks.
We're very kind people. I think Ben Williamson, I mean, his glove, you don't have to worry about that. I think that's been made very well known just how great of a fielder he's been throughout his minor league career. The bat, you kind of wonder, is this something that is even going to factor in the 2025 season, or is this just kind of a defensive first move? But right now, I think Mastrobuoni might be the guy that gets the most playing time at third base as we kind of like wait for Polanco to get back to health. Dylan Moore, I think, is going to be your second baseman until Polanco comes back.
Yeah.
Then after that, I mean, maybe Dylan Moore moves over to third base. He's your third baseman with Polanco at second. You've got Williamson and Mastrobuoni kind of sharing, bench duties. In that instance, I don't think Williamson is going to be your starting third baseman going forward.
Speaking of Mastrobuoni, speaking of Moore, speaking of everyone not named Julio, not named Randy Arozarena, Dan Wilson talked about getting contributions up and down the lineup on Sunday.
I mean, that's what it takes offensively. Especially when you have bigger innings, like we were able to have, like last night before, you're going to get contributions all up and down the lineup. And whether it's walks, whether it's turning the lineup over to get back to the top, whatever it is, finding a way on base, getting a runner in, getting a runner over. I mean, that's the things that these guys have been able to do really throughout the order. Finding a way to contribute some way offensively, and that's big. And that's when you really start clicking as a club and can start putting a lot of numbers on the board.
This will not always be the case, clearly. But it is encouraging to see this weekend. You got a home run from like Rowdy Tellez. You had I'm counting it as a double until he got a little too eager. Okay, it could have been just a stand-up double.
He was harshly reminded of his athletic prowess.
So have we all been.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, he reached his top level, but then he thought there was another level to it, and it was like, nah, dude, like this is where you're comfortable.
That's how I felt when I fell going down the stairs.
Just like, I got this.
You're
I
feeling
got
real
this.
confident,
Bang.
and you're like, well, starting my day, and then then the Lord, Jesus, takes the wheel and reminds you where you are in life.
Gravity's undefeated.
Undefeated. So was time. But you did see contributions. I would have been happy leaving these two series, Curtis, and leaving this one against the Rangers in particular, saying, God, I saw some stuff I liked from Julio. I saw some stuff I liked from Randy, and we saw stuff we loved. I feel even better leaving this homestand going, I feel, great about, how the defensive infield looks. I feel really solid about how they've been able to make up for losing two really physical players or athletic players.
Yeah, and I think I have yet to see, too many. I've yet to see more than maybe one or two texts on our text line that are, kind of pouting on today. It's just, there are those people that you'll never be able to convince that things are going all right with anything. But I think everybody is kind of in consensus that that was a really needed homestand, but also that was just a really fun weekend. And now you're heading out on the road. Now the Mariners play a lot different away from T-Mobile Park than they do here in Seattle, so that's kind of going to be an interesting thing. You're going to 2 bandboxes. Cincinnati, one of the better hitter paradises in all of baseball, and then also Boston at the end of the road trip. So going to be a lot different styles you see, but I'm excited to see where this team is when they come back home in about a week and a half.
Rowdy has heart, says the 425. That, quote, triple was nothing but hustle and heart.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Let's see. Someone else said, Tellez trying to go for the triple reminds me of tripping over the baby gate in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah. 2-by-3.
Love for that
Seeing
guy.
that tank go for third was more satisfying than him just settling for a double.
If he were to get that triple, it would have been a win for everyone. That's an
would've.
everyman triple.
Did you see Julio put Rowdy's slide in his slideshow recap on Instagram?
No. I love it.
Of the homestand. Yeah.
Oh, this is a fun one. We are not done talking about it. We'll get back to Cal at 10:30 right now. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Rory McIlroy completed the career Grand Slam after winning the Masters for the first time yesterday in a playoff against Justin Rose. What's the real headline?
I hope everyone's ready for black pudding and corned beef at next year's Masters dinner. It's just beer.
Was it blood sausage? That's a thing, too?
Well, I can't tell what's British and what. Why did
What's
I almost
Irish?
turn to Matt and go, Matt?
Matt watches Doctor Who.
What's British food and what's Irish food? Because they don't like each other, right? Like they're a little at odds.
Well, I think there's peace between the two sides, but
Definitely
they're
peace,
kind of rivals,
but-
I
right?
think there's some animosity there because the
peaceful
British
animosity.
terrible to Ireland over the years.
True.
Yeah,
Are we
they-
going to turn this into a history podcast? Because that's always what I've wanted.
Sure. We'll need to turn down the music and just go, the British Army? I don't know what's Irish. I searched Irish food. I'm not Irish. I couldn't tell you.
Cabbage.
I know
potatoes,
cabbage.
Corned beef.
I know that. I don't know, pickled things.
soda
Maybe
bread?
that's Germany. I really couldn't
Guinness.
tell you any of this.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Rory, though. It was a long time coming. Sound from the moment.
The only problem is the nerves.
Yeah. Look at the long shadows. Symbolic, this moment, of the journey it's taken to get here. For all this history.
The long journey is over. McIlroy has his masterpiece.
The sound from the Masters sounds like me making fun of sound from the Masters, but an emotional moment for Rory. He gets emotional when he's out there. Very, very cool.
It was an incredible sight to witness. I mean, it has been, 11 years in between major titles, which I don't think anybody saw that coming because he won so many so young. I think
By
it was
25.
by 25, he had won he had won the other 3. Had come so close year after year to win the Masters. What I was kind of floored by yesterday is how quickly Nike had their Rory McIlroy commercial after winning. The one where it's the dry cleaners and it turns to a green jacket.
Oh, they
with
had
the
that
label
ready in
for
like
McIlroy.
20.
I want to know how many
18.
years ago did they film that? Because, look, that's something completely out of Nike's control. They had to have that at the ready probably like 4 or 5 other times.
Yeah. It was it meant more given that it took this long. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think it would have been really cool if, like, prior to even turning 30, he would have accomplished a career Grand Slam. And he was on pace to do it, clearly, again, like we said, having gotten those other 3. But it was it carried more emotional weight with the weight that he had to do.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava will enter the transfer portal after the school refused to increase his NIL deal. What's the real headline?
How can we be so shocked when Iamaleava is literally his last name? I know it's not pronounced that way. It's not pronounced that way. I understand that.
Who could have seen this coming?
The transfer portal opens up on Wednesday. Ross Tucker with a really interesting bit about how, look, Nico ended up going to Tennessee for the NIL money. Why are we shocked that he's leaving because he hasn't had that money solidified? I think it opens up, Curtis, a bigger conversation that this is the one people are really having today about the ways that NIL has no guardrails and how that can so easily upend a program. This was a college football playoff team.
Right.
And Nico was their first 5-star quarterback, I think since 2002, like early 2000s. So this is a big deal. And here's my question. How do you create contracts or any binding levels to NIL stuff when you're not technically an employee? Like, find a way to do it, because I do hate, look, if a player wants to get his money, get your money.
Yeah.
But let's create some rules around things.
That is a responsibility left for the NCAA, which I think they purposely did not do anything to curtail this, because for so long we're like, oh, these players need to get paid, these players need to get compensation for their likenesses. And I think the NCAA did this out of spite, where they were like, oh, you want to get everybody paid? Okay, our hands are off.
Oh, I'm so glad you're saying that.
Let's see if this is what you actually want out of college athletics.
I'm not kidding. I can't tell if I am full tin hat conspiracy theorist sounding absolutely insane, but I have felt for a minute as though the NCAA is intentionally not adding guardrails to show people, like, see the thing we were fighting for.
You liked this better before all this.
But it's like, it doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way.
Right, because you don't see yearly free agency like this in any other sport. Like, you don't see just 1-year deals after 1-year deals in baseball, in the NFL, in the NBA, in hockey. You don't see that. And it's just left college athletics in this absolute chaos and this tornado that I think the NCAA does have the button to press in case of emergency, but they have no incentive to press it right now.
And it's really a shame, because the conversation that instead becomes one of players wanting to get paid money is selfish. No one wanting money for themselves. Everyone in every single job everywhere would like more money. Everyone.
Right.
Yeah, it makes life easier.
Yes.
I don't care what you want to say and pretend to be self-righteous about, like, no, I would do it for the love of the game. No, you wouldn't. Okay, you would think about your family, you would think about your future, you would think about stability. But what's the shame becomes that it doesn't have to be a conversation about selfishness. It would be great if it was just a conversation about, like, commitment. You know what I mean? Like, you committed to Tennessee, maybe that NIL deal, and you can't make someone an employee. So maybe the scholarship doesn't have some non-binding thing, because the scholarship already has rules. Your scholarship has grade rules. Your scholarship has attendance rules. You know, there are rules and guidelines surrounding the scholarship. But anyways, it was a great weekend for blank. That's coming your way next.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
First real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you hear matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number one. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number two. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Happy Monday. Curtis Rogers in for Michael Bumpus. It was a great weekend for blank and a bad one for blank. Send your answers in 866-979-3776. Curtis, it was a great weekend for whom or what? Now that we're back in on this Monday morning.
Great weekend for, I don't know if anybody had a better weekend than Rory McIlroy, right?
I don't think so.
Him,
I mean, I had a solid weekend. It was really relaxing.
Yeah. Did you win like $4 million?
No, I had a whole bag of peanut M&Ms or peanut butter M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms are horrible. That was all. That's all I did.
I don't mind the peanut M&Ms. You know,
You're just saying things to say.
No, I'm
things.
not. I'm really not. No, and I don't think I don't think that's that controversial. I think that peanut butter.
It is. It's pretty
if you
controversial.
were to survey 100% of Americans, the majority of them would prefer peanut butter M&Ms to peanut M&Ms.
You know what's fun about peanut M&Ms?
Nothing.
Eating the shell around the peanut and then eating the peanut separately.
You know what's fun about eating peanut M&Ms? Eating peanut M&Ms because they're delicious and you're wrong.
No, I'll eat them, but I think that they should have 60% more chocolate around the peanut, and I would be okay without the peanut entirely. So just giant M&Ms would be fine.
So Rory McIlroy had the best weekend of anybody, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very tight. He nearly gacked it away. Justin Rose had an incredible finish to the back nine there at Augusta, but I think it was Rory with the best weekend.
Yeah.
Who had another good weekend?
I thought that one Cal Raleigh had a very, very, very good weekend. Third straight home run.
The look in by Evaldi. Big pitch coming up. The 3-2 off on the way. Swinging a drive into right field. Going back Garcia to the one-he track to the corner. This one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, raises his arm in the air as he rounds second. A 2-run home run for Cal Raleigh. His 5th of the season. Home runs in each of the 3 games here at home against the Rangers. And the Mariners lead Texas 2-0. And what a series for the big dumper.
Not only did he have home runs in 3 consecutive games, it was also at one point his 96 home run. That is now a record by Mariners catchers. So again, setting history and making MLB headlines over a weekend. Pretty nice weekend for Cal.
He set that record in, 4 seasons?
Just a classic.
Like, he has not had a lot of time to become the Mariners franchise leader in home runs by a catcher. So, I mean, just an incredible start to his career. And, hey, we get to see him in a Mariners uniform for 6 more years after this. So, I mean, who knows what that record is going to look like at the end of his extension that he just signed about a week or so ago. So, yeah, a great weekend for him. Bad weekend, Sam Howell. Sam Howell had a bad weekend, Stacy.
He sure did.
He
did. And he didn't do anything.
He was coming into
he
Friday.
Was minding his business.
Great weather. Like, yeah, I'm the Seahawks backup quarterback. Like, this is going to be great. This is just another year in Seattle. Sam Darnold's here. It's the Sams. It's great. Everything's great. And then, hey, Drew Lock. Hey.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. Pretend to be excited to see it.
That's a great answer for who had a bad weekend.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Woo.
Yep.
Does Sam Howell have a place on this team?
No.
In 2024
I mean,
or 2025?
Technically, he's competing with Drew, right? It's really like bad news for like a Jaron Hall, someone that's clearly like would be a practice squad guy who's now not here because maybe that goes to Sam. But or maybe Jaron stays on a practice squad and Sam gets scooped up by another team. I don't know. But a 2-year deal, you pointed this out on Friday, a 2-year deal isn't, we'll try it out.
No, that's a commitment, especially to a backup quarterback. Yeah, that's bringing in your guy. That's John Schneider being like, Drew Lock is my dude. Sorry, Sam Howell. Like, seemed like a nice guy, but it was not going to work out here. So I think that to me is somebody who had a very bad weekend.
Someone said it was a bad weekend for the Dodgers. Too bad Bump isn't here today.
They lost 16-0.
Oh, God. Can you imagine being the Dodgers? What a pathetic franchise.
Just losers.
I know. That's so embarrassing. A good weekend for golf fans, says 206. Bad for Justin Rose. I mean, technically, he did play in the Masters, which is a pretty nice weekend. But
his prize money, I mean, he still probably got like $500,000 or something like that.
Didn't he continue to add on to that trend, though, of like best score or like leading a round 1 and then not finishing? Like, he's got some kind of unfortunate
probably
standing where like best performance early to never
lose. Yeah.
Let's see. A great weekend for good vibes. Terrible weekend for bad vibes. I like it. Someone said Matt, did something happen with Nintendo Switch? What's going on?
The pre-orders.
Someone said bad weekend for Nintendo Switch 2.
It's been bad weekends for Nintendo fans for years now. The Switch 2 was supposed to the pre-orders were supposed to start, but because of all the confusion with tariffs, you can't pre-order it in America right now. And so I just have to wait to play the new Pokemon game.
Oh, no.
And it's killing me inside.
Someone sent in most popular M&M flavors overall. Peanut is the second most popular behind original. I'm concerned for the state of our country after seeing that.
I can see why that is the case. Yeah.
No, it's not sweet and salty enough. The peanut is just there. It shows up uninvited.
No, it's good. I think it's very.
Your
No, I mean,
food takes show up uninvited.
No, they don't. They really don't, Matt. They don't. Stop. Don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at Matt. He's harassing me on air. I would eat them, but I don't think that they are rightfully or fairly in the place of second most popular M&M. And peanut butter as a whole, do people not know they exist? Do people get them confused with peanut M&Ms? Maybe there's a lot of people that don't like
M&Ms
peanut M&Ms.
Are second place in terms of chocolate candy peanut butter hard shells behind Reese's Pieces.
No,
there's
not.
no chocolate in Reese's Pieces. What are you talking about?
The shell.
No, it's just a sugar shell. Yeah, no.
But Reese's themselves are chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah, but Reese's Pieces are just peanut butter, man. Curtis, are you being for real right now?
I feel lied to.
You're being
Are
gaslit.
you being so for real right now?
Even they're the second best peanut butter candy.
It was a good weekend for blank and a bad weekend for blank. 866-979-3776. Let's see. Someone said, I've got a couple more Justin Rose. Someone said Justin Rose did okay. It's okay to be wrong, Stacy. You're dead wrong at this issue. I'm not. Good weekend for UFC fans.
253 says Justin Rose still got $2 million.
That's a solid. I'm sorry. That's a great weekend for Justin Rose. A great weekend for Justin Rose. I'm gonna say a good weekend for Rowdy Tellez. I know that he just had the home run and then didn't quite get the triple, but he did have an RBI right on that one.
Yes,
I think that's a good weekend for Rowdy Tellez, given my expectations for Rowdy.
For sure, I think it was progress after seeing nothing from him over the season's first couple of weeks.
Ooh, bad weekend for Texas baseball teams.
Yeah, they really.
Bad weekend for the Suns, or a good weekend?
It was just
Your
a
head
bad
coach is fired.
season for the Phoenix Suns. It was all bad for them this year. A lot of NBA firings, obviously, because it's the end of the season, the end of the regular season, but. I think the Phoenix Suns, they could really hit a reset. Good weekend for torpedo bats. Yeah, they got another rousing approval from Major League Baseball players.
Yeah.
I think that's a good weekend. Yeah, Cal, I would imagine, is probably going to swing those things for quite a while. He owns Toronto, and that is the second leg of this road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be allowed into the country?
I don't think so. Let's see. Someone said good weekend for you to basketball recruiting. Good weekend for the Mariners. Yeah, I just read the one you saw, Mariners torpedo bats. Good weekend for another good weekend for Cal. Bad weekend for Bump. I don't know. I think Bump's enjoying his time off, and Bump had Rory winning the Masters. So
he did.
I think it's probably a pretty good weekend for Bump too. All right. We have unsurprisingly been talking about Rory and the Masters quite a bit in our Good Weekend, Bad Weekend segment just here. And part of the reason that Rory's story resonated with so many people is not just because he's likable and easy to watch and a great golfer, but he waited 10 years between completing the first couple legs of this career Grand Slam and finally getting his green jacket. So what other athlete, it could be also a team, has that narrative, has that persona, has that story change if they finally get a championship? That's next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Just in the case of Gino, you make an offer to somebody, and then later he goes and speaks and talks about he felt disrespected. I mean, that's probably not unique either. I mean,
No.
He's entitled to feel how he feels.
Exactly. Yeah, very comfortable the way we handled it. You can't tell somebody how to feel. Like, it's just like any other relationship. Like, it's the way you feel. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. afterwards to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Ooh, what was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just 1 day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed 1-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet. But we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is. Like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The Mariners have a great slate of giveaways and special events all season long. Don't miss your chance to score a City Connect Captain's Hat Friday, April 25th, and a Moose Shoulder Plush Saturday, April 26th. Then get ready for a special Mother's Day weekend at the ballpark Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th, featuring a clear purse giveaway for the first 10,000 moms on Sunday, the 11th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Go to mariners.com/promos to get your tickets and check out the complete promotion schedule.
From the Quantum Fiber Soccer Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy
Weekdays 10 to 2.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Congratulations to Rory McIlroy, winner of the 2025 Masters. Finally completed his career Grand Slam, but getting that green blazer had the monkey on his back for about a decade. He won his first 3 championships by age 25. So now he's not just a pro who has fallen short of greatness. He's one of the greats forever. Curtis and listeners, what other athlete or team, I should say or team, you can be a little creative with your approach, could see his legacy, his persona, his story, his narrative change the most with a championship?
There are a couple right now, specifically in the NFL, that I think are most. The narrative around them would change drastically if they ever did get a Super Bowl title. And I'll start with Josh Allen in Buffalo. That guy and his Bills teams have come so close to knocking off Patrick Mahomes year after year
times.
and just have not been able to get over that hump. Every single year, Kansas City ends Buffalo's season, and you just look over the sideline. There's a dejected Josh Allen, or he's just got kind of this deer in the headlights face of just like, again? I can't get past these guys. If he ever wins a Super Bowl, just kind of the exhale that he will have, and also Buffalo, the city of Buffalo.
Still not
the
a
fact
Super
that
Bowl win to
both,
the team.
Yeah, the fact that both of them are forever linked together in kind of their almost misery, where it's like, man, just get this guy a Super Bowl, get that fan base a Super Bowl, because, he is so good.
Yeah.
Every team outside of the Kansas City Chiefs and maybe the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals would love to have themselves Josh Allen as their quarterback.
What I like about this exercise, what I like about Rory's story is talking about Rory and now talking about like Josh Allen and the Bills is a constant reminder that the narrative that if you work hard enough, you can get what you want falls heartbreakingly short for so many people. Josh Allen was an MVP. The Bills have had tremendously successful seasons. They've had Hall of Famers come through that building, and they have not won a Super Bowl. Everyone knows the four falls of Buffalo, right? Just back to back to back to back Super Bowl losses. To make it to back to back to back to back Super Bowls is an incredible feat. Again, a reminder that you can be the best at something and still come away with heartbreak. And that is one of the most underrated and emotionally devastating truths of sports, regardless of the sport, regardless of the league. A reminder that you can be one of the all-time greats and still fall short. How many times, Curtis, have we talked about the other people that during, let's say, Jordan's peak, the Bulls' peak in the NBA, were like the great players, the great teams that just were absolutely held out constantly. And it forever changed their narrative and changed the story around those players and those teams.
You kind of wonder if guys like Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow are destined for what we talk about Charles Barkley as, or Patrick Ewing as, or Stockton and Malone as, these all-time greats that just happened to be born in the wrong era and the wrong time because they were going up against a guy who just would not settle for anything less than a championship. Yeah, just calm down.
Michael Jordan needed to chill.
You've won so much already, dude.
God.
Come on, man.
866-979-3776. Someone said John Morant. He's actually someone I was wondering about earlier, not because he's been waiting so long, but I do think it would change. Right now, it's like you're so talented, but you don't take this seriously. Or you're so talented, you're dominating headlines, but like the grit, like just in general, the story would change. So this is less the Rory story and more about someone whose narrative, whose story does change with a championship.
Oh, yeah. I think people would take him a lot more seriously than they do if he ever did win a championship. I just don't know if he has that within him because just of how he continues to kind of fall into the same trapdoors every single time.
Who's someone in the NBA who has it within him then, who still has time to get this done?
I think it's a guy who made headlines for reasons that he was out of control, or he had no control of. I think it's Luka Doncic. I think he is the young star in the league that the NBA wants to crown so badly as like the future face of this league once LeBron James eventually retires, probably within the next year or two. I think Luka coming so close last year with Dallas and getting heavily scrutinized for his defensive performance against Boston, and just kind of how he handled himself in that NBA Finals where he was complaining to officials a lot. I think he's the NBA player right now with the most pressure on him to win a title within the next few years. I mean, I think in the NBA, winning a title holds the most like juice. Like that will change anybody's narrative about a player. We were talking about this before the show started, but like if Kevin Durant was able to win a title without the Golden State Warriors, people would look at him as, he's already an all-time great in the NBA, but they would look at him as maybe like a top 10 player all time.
Brady winning, I know that it's a different league, and you're right, it does carry less weight, but Brady winning with the Bucks, despite that Bucks defensive line being like maybe the best in football at the time, and having great wide receivers and having a great head coach and a great coaching staff, there were plenty of great pieces around Brady, great players around Brady. That team was ready. It's why they went for Brady. Even then, the narrative is, well, Brady did it without Bill. Right? Because the question didn't last very long about whether or not it was Brady, whether or not it was Belichick. That cemented his legacy.
Right.
It did.
I think another title like that was Steph Curry winning a title without Kevin Durant after Durant had left for Brooklyn. Golden State wins it in, I think, 2021, 2022, one of those years. And people were just like, oh, it was Steph who really kind of made things work in Golden State. Another couple that we were thinking about, too, Aaron Judge in baseball. I think people are done waiting for Mike Trout to be that guy.
Yeah, I
think it's over for him in terms of like potentially winning a ring.
I do too, and I think it's still going to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt in anyone's mind. It's just kind of they've settled on like, and what a shame that he was never, because people look at it very squarely as being on the shoulders of the Angels as opposed to Mike Trout.
Right.
It's never like, oh, Trout couldn't get it done when it mattered most. It was the
he did
Angels
everything
never
he
got
could,
it done.
yeah.
Exactly. And I think Ohtani having been with them too and then leaving and finding success, people were like, look, it's clearly a youth thing when it came to the Angels. I do want to add a clarifying thing onto this because I saw someone say the Mariners, and I'm glad you mentioned Aaron Judge. Rory winning to me is not this like feel-good Cinderella, wow, you never saw it coming story. The Mariners winning a World Series would be like, scratching an itch for us here in Seattle.
Yes.
But what I like about this question is it is more relevant for an Aaron Judge, and it is more relevant for, like, let's say even Aaron Boone with the Yankees, because it's the idea that every year you face the expectation and every year you fall short.
Right.
And that changes how people talk about you and see you, even if you are MVP, even if you set records, even AL home run records. Like, no matter what you do, it'll always be, but where's the ring? Where's the pennant?
I was thinking, too, Connor McDavid with Edmonton, him being this record-setting NHL player that's probably going to break I'm probably going to break Alex Ovechkin's scoring record at some point over the next couple decades, but he hasn't won a Stanley Cup yet. Came so close last year. They were down 3-0 in the finals to Florida, forced a Game 7, but couldn't finish off the title. So he's another guy that I think is just going to be under this microscope and just feeling the heat from everybody.
Well, and we all know, and we hear this comparison all the time, that sometimes someone can pull out, well, they have a ring, as this kind of end-all, be-all in comparisons between athletes where the one without might genuinely be better.
Right.
Not saying he's better than Ovi, but I'm saying like
it's kind of the whole Cam Newton thing where he was like, I'm a better quarterback than Trent Dilfer is. I'm a better quarterback than Brad Johnson is. Just because I don't have a Super Bowl ring doesn't make me worse than those guys.
Speaking of quarterbacks, even after signing Drew Lock, are the Seahawks still going to take one in the draft? That's next.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on Draft Day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's me, the foul pole at T-Mobile Park. But it's about time they call me the fair pole, because those are the moments I live for. When Cal's up to the plate, I'm always on high alert.
The Big Dumper with a 2-run blast.
And then there's Randy Arozarena launching missiles into the stands, flipping his bat so high it practically reaches my eye level.
Blasted back, Randy Arozarena strikes again.
And J-Rod, heck, when he connects, he makes the whole building shake.
And it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. Julio Rodriguez.
So come on down and take a seat beside me. You might even go home with a souvenir. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The Mariners are back in town starting April 25th, and you won't want to miss 2 great giveaways. City Connect Captain's Hat Friday the 25th and Moose Shoulder Plush Night Saturday the 26th. Plus, score value game seats as low as $10 April 29th and 30th. Go to mariners.com to get your tickets and check out everything on deck.
Hey, this is a great deal. Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement, incentivizing homeowners like you to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and this is a great time to do it. The days are getting longer. Post 7 p.m. sunsets, those crews can get your roof done quick, just in time for the spring rains to keep your home dry and protected. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from their website, riversideroofingllc.com. And when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. Be sure to ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, their GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers nationally, and the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails and shingles. It's all at riversideroofingllc.com. Tell them Mike Salk sent you. Go to Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number 2. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Hey, it's Cliff Averill, inviting you to join me at Muckleshoot Casino Resort April 24th for the ultimate draft day viewing party. Yeah, we're teaming up with Seattle Sports to bring you all the excitement on draft night live. You'll get expert insight, exclusive prizes, and a chance to hang out with me and my boy Lofa Tatupu for a special Q&A. Whether you're a diehard Seahawks fan or just love some football, this is the place to be. So don't miss out. Join us for the big night at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Let's talk football, win some prizes, and enjoy the draft together.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Suns have fired head coach Mike Budenholzer after one season. They missed the playoffs with the largest payroll in team history, finishing 36-46. The Mariners can't relate. Their next hire will be their fourth new head coach in 4 seasons. The Mariners went 5-1 during a homestand and have a day off today, but don't miss your Mariners fix with extra innings, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., hosted by Curtis Rogers.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Very, Brian Windhorst, what's going on in the Seahawks quarterback room? What's going on? We've had a weekend to digest the Drew Lock signing. So what are the Seahawks doing at quarterback? Curtis, you have a couple choices. Curtis Rogers in for Michael Bumpus, as do you listeners. Now, maybe you look at the Drew Lock signing and you say, backup, set. Sam Darnold, set. They don't carry 3 quarterbacks. Maybe someone like Jaron Hall's on the practice squad and Sam Howell signs elsewhere. What do you mean? There are no quarterback questions left. Or maybe you're someone like Mike Salk this morning. It was a great take by him who said, a year ago, you would look at this quarterback room, Sam Darnold, Sam Howell, Drew Lock, and go, who's starting where and who's the backup? What do you mean? I don't feel confident at all. The Seahawks are tanking. Maybe you're someone with a lot of questions. Maybe you want to see them take someone in the draft. Maybe you want to see a lot of guys battle it out for a position. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just don't feel good in Sam Darnold as your starter already. So Drew Lock coming here doesn't make you feel that much better. Wherever you land on this, what do you think the Seahawks are doing at quarterback?
Well, it's funny because a year ago, I think most people would probably have the most faith in Sam Howell of these three as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
If you did not know how 2024 played out in any way,
right,
you'd say, oh, well, obviously Sam Howell beat out Geno.
Yeah. But
and he entered the season as the starter.
No, what I see from these 3 quarterbacks is the Seahawks almost saying out loud, we're not taking a quarterback in the draft, or at least one in the first 5 or 6 rounds. Maybe you take one at the very end of day 3, but I don't see any significant draft investment made into this quarterback group in 2025. Now, John Schneider did say last week with Wyman and Bob, like, don't speak so ill of the 2025 draft class. Like, there's some arms, there's some talented guys in this class, but none of them jump out to me, Stacy. I don't know if any of them jump out to you as a guy like, yes, do everything you can to get this guy, or if he falls to you, run your card up to the draft phone, the hotline or whatever it is.
No, I feel the way I do about peanut M&Ms, and we already fought about this, as I do with Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe. If they're here, fine.
Right.
But I'm not going to buy them.
Uh-huh. I mean, peanut M&Ms
think that's
still pretty good.
I don't know. I know the text line really disagrees with me because you guys just don't know.
The text line disagrees with you. Your coworkers disagree with you. The internet disagrees with you.
But here's the thing.
You're right, Stacy.
But I didn't come out and say, no, listen to me. I didn't come out and say Jackson Dart can't play in the NFL. Peanut M&Ms are god-awful. Roll the tape. I just said they're not the best. I'm not going to go out and buy them. I'll have them if they're in front of me. But peanut butter M&Ms are so much better. And I'm just saying, a fair analogy for this quarterback class. If they're here in Seattle, all right, let's see what they got. Let's see what's going on. But I don't want to see them use a draft pick.
Right. And I think this is as close to them saying we're not investing in the quarterback spot in this draft without them outright doing so. Now, what then do you do with all these quarterbacks that you've got? Oops, all quarterbacks.
You got too many.
Yeah, I don't see them carrying 3. We talked to Brian Walters on Friday. He was like, I don't see them carrying 3. I mean, you've already got Jaron Hall 2 on your practice squad, which means you've got 4 on your roster at this point. Hall has some starting experience too in the NFL. I think he started a couple of games for the Vikings a couple of years ago when Kirk Cousins got hurt. So there is just so many options you've got after Sam Darnold. He's the presumptive starter. Like, there's no doubt about that. The contract that you're paying him, he is going to get all the first-team reps in camp. He is going to be your starter week 1, no doubt about that. But it does kind of make me wonder, like, what is it that they have in store beyond 2025 because of how many outs there are in Darnold's contract. You've got Locke under contract next year. I just don't know what they're going to do with Sam Howell. I don't know if you could find a trade partner for him. He may end up just kind of being set aside and cast off into free agency. But I kind of wonder, maybe, Stacy, that is the 2026 draft kind of what they're looking at more than 2025?
I've always wondered that. Like, I don't.
You got to do it at some point.
Well, I'm kind of stuck in between these two places. Number one, the Seahawks don't necessarily need a quarterback this year. They're paying Sam Darnold $35 million, okay? They don't need a quarterback this year to solve that question. But fundamentally, on a broader scale, they do.
Right.
Just like every single franchise needs to have that answer, right? The strongest correlation you can find between success as an organization is having that answer at quarterback. We can find examples of franchises that have found success in spite of that or having a shaky answer there, but typically they're an elite roster, maybe an elite defense, maybe great timing. Maybe they have one Super Bowl to their name, but not necessarily a dynastic run. So you got to find that answer somewhere. Maybe there's a world where it's Sam. I tend to think it's not, and I know that that's unfair, but I don't feel sold on that idea. I also don't feel sold that that answer is in this class. So, yeah, I'm looking at 2026 and just kind of thinking, John Schneider, I don't think he plans to win only 3 games in 2025.
Right.
So he's going to need to work some draft magic. Maybe you package up a massive trade and go up and get your guy. I don't know what you're going to do, but I've kind of set it on like they have a year to figure this out.
Well, if you're going to move up or if you're going to trade for another quarterback, you're going to need more draft capital. But Stacy, who on this current Seahawks roster could you move to go get the extra draft capital needed? Because you just traded your best trade chip in DK Metcalf.
Well, and you could say Devin Witherspoon, but he would be in line for a contract extension, so you'd be looking at the same issue that you would with DK this past season, which is, okay, well, the team trading for him is going to give you less capital because they need to give him an extension. It would be, I would look at it as what the 49ers did for Lance. You're giving up future first-rounders.
Right. That would be the path, I think, most taken in this instance. Yeah. And as we know, John Schneider has never been one to shy away from trading first-round draft picks. Did it for
we don't need to talk about it.
Graham, did it for Jamal Adams. It has blown up in their face all 3 times. They've done so.
We don't need to go down memory lane.
But, yeah, I think if you are going to make a significant move at the position outside of signing Sam Darnold, then, yeah, you're going to have to look at future assets. And I get that you never want to, potentially lose multiple first-round picks at a time because there is nothing more valuable than a player on a rookie deal. And, look, there's nothing more valuable in the NFL than a quarterback on a rookie deal, too. I mean, look at what the 49ers have been able to do with Brock Purdy over the last few seasons. It's opened them up to all sorts of spending and how they've been able to, build out that roster. Now, they're obviously having to make some significant roster decisions this year because of whatever impending payday Brock Purdy's going to get. But, look, I think if the Seahawks do go the route of addressing that quarterback spot, maybe for the long term, I think drafting one is going to set themselves up and give themselves the longest window. I don't think the Seahawks are going to be comfortable paying a quarterback top of the market money because, as we saw with Russell Wilson, when push came to shove, they told him, no, we are not going to pay you that contract. Find that somewhere else, and then we'll move you. I think the Seahawks would be much more comfortable paying a quarterback a rookie deal and then kind of, in that Geno Smith, Sam Darnold range rather than getting up to the Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler
neither
Murray.
of them should be getting those contracts. I mean, I'm sure those teams, particularly Dallas, regret that. And I think that, honestly, I know Pete Carroll's not here, so this is a moot point. But I at least, and many other people and everyone, knew how Pete Carroll felt about this specific thing, which was, well, maybe you don't need the guy, your MVP player at quarterback. Maybe you just need someone who can get the job done and then a great team around him. Here's my problem with that. We know that that's a way that you can win a Super Bowl. The Eagles just did it. The Eagles just won a Super Bowl that way. And we've seen other examples of teams that have won Super Bowls without the very clear top quarterback at the helm. Does it feel like the Seahawks are being close to that team? Because I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's really easy to go, because it's so impossible to find a quarterback. I mean, for goodness sakes, the Bears have been trying to do it for how many years? The Jets since the arguably
since
late
Joe
60s.
Namath? Yeah,
since Joe Namath, the Jets have been trying to find a franchise quarterback. Think of how long that's been.
Boy, the Bears.
That's what I'm saying. So there are teams that will spend decades that will spend ridiculous contracts like Denver, or trade 1 million first-round picks, or use 1 million first-round picks, or first overall picks, like the Browns, to try to find that guy, and it won't work out. I know that seems like the more difficult option of the two, and in theory it is, but it is still very difficult to build up a great team, and the Seahawks have quite a few missing pieces. Like, this is if that's the route you want to take, okay, well, this is still a hugely important draft for John Schneider.
Right. And I think one thing that we learned in the Jets' pursuit of Aaron Rodgers is that it's not just a quarterback that can lift a team. You got to have an offensive line. And the Jets did not have that Aaron Rodgers' first year in New York. And he only played, 4 snaps with the team, but ended up getting hurt. And then we saw just how bad things were for Zach Wilson and all the other quarterbacks that they ran out there. But the Seahawks are going to need to fortify everything around the quarterback position in order for whoever it is that is their long-term answer to have the most success possible. That was the big that's why there was so much success early on, I think, when Russell Wilson got here, is that they had the roster built out. Like, they had almost everything in place.
Can I also say a tiny little thing, which is Russell Wilson was better than people give him credit for in hindsight.
Oh, for sure.
People talk about, that version of Russell Wilson. You just had any old guy at quarterback and then the Legion of Boom. And it's I do not think that without the Legion of Boom, they win a Super Bowl.
Correct.
Period. I do not think that without that defense, they win. However, Russ was electric.
Yes.
And
I don't know if they win a Super Bowl with another quarterback.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think that it is easier to replace Russ than it would the defense. You had the best defense, period. One of the best defenses we've seen in NFL history. But the Russ is a player, and then the Russ combination with Marshawn behind the best offensive line John Schneider's put together, incredibly underrated part of what they did.
I'm looking at some of the 2026 quarterback names and just, I don't know. It kind of feels like a 2025 quarterback class.
Where it's like Arch Manning.
Arch Manning is number one, according to a lot of people.
Sure.
Our boy Nico from Tennessee.
Hey, who knows where he's going to be?
They've got him rated number 2. This is NFLDraftBuzz.com. And then Drew Aller from Penn State. He's the 3rd ranked quarterback. Lenoris Sellers from South Carolina. Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. Cade Klubnik from Clemson. Sam Levitt from ASU. John Mateer, very familiar out here, Oklahoma quarterback. And then Miller Moss, Carson Beck at Miami, Haynes King from Georgia Tech, and Jackson Arnold. Those are the top 12 guys with draft eligibility in 2026. None of those names get me excited right now. Now, there's an entire 2025 college football season still to be played, and maybe one of these guys just goes on to have a Joe Burrow kind of season.
I was just going to say.
And is just oh my God, this guy is the
just
consensus.
Played himself into number one.
Yeah, got to do whatever it takes to get him on your team. But, again, if you're kind of faced with another quarterback class that is similar to what we're seeing this year, man, maybe you do kind of go the veteran route and look that way. But it's just, I want to see the Seahawks draft a quarterback at some point. I don't think it's going to be this year.
Do you want it to be this year? Forget what you think they're going to do. Take the analyst cap off and just think about the selfish, what would be interesting to
Would
you?
I have rather had a rookie quarterback here than Drew Lock? Yes.
Okay.
I would have rather had, whether it be, I don't think Jackson Dart was going to slip to them, but I yes, I would have rather had a rookie quarterback here in place of Drew Lock, because I think that could lead to something more than what Drew Lock is going to lead to. I think Drew Lock is a good backup, but I don't think he's anything more than that.
A question that I just got from a listener that I'll throw your way on a very related note. They said, well, does signing Drew Lock somehow keep them from doing that?
From drafting a quarterback, I think it does. I think he is very much your backup quarterback, and unless they draft a quarterback late in the draft and then kind of use him as their practice squad quarterback for the time being.
Which isn't a quarterback that would get you excited.
No,
That's not Milroe.
No, it's not. I don't even know who it would be. It would be, I don't even know who it would be, a seventh-round quarterback.
Exactly.
And neither would you, because I'm talking to you, the listener, because guys who get taken in the seventh round, we're always just kind of like, okay, I know the school, but I don't know who that player is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything like that.
That's where you start talking to your friends and you go, of course you got
so-and-so from...
I couldn't even...
Braxton
Braley.
Smith-Jones.
And let me tell you about Braxton.
He's
heck of a player.
Yeah, very toolsy. That's what they say about a lot of
seventh. A lot of upside, a lot of athletic upside. Yeah. I'll tell you right now about the Seahawks seventh-round quarterback. Some athletic upside.
Went the JUCO route for a couple of years, then hit the transfer portal.
He's 32.
That's the thing. When I hear people talk about Tyler Shuck, the Louisville quarterback, and they're like, first off, he's 25 years old. It's like, wow, that is not young for a draft quarterback.
No.
That's pretty old.
He's a year older than Michael Penix Jr., who everyone was like, he's old.
Yeah, he's
an old man. All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Stacy, first down. This NFL draft is giving what?
It's giving trade back. It's giving boring. It's giving role players. It's giving foundational pieces, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I have accepted that this NFL draft isn't giving excitement, isn't giving surprise, but it is giving get the job done, and you know what the job is. Build up those foundational pieces. Get a really, really solid young wide receiver in here to grow into that wide receiver 2 role. Get a really solid linebacker or edge rusher to add depth to that room. Maybe you don't end up paying, one of those young guys. Get a really good special teamer in here. Get 2 linemen and have them battle it out for a guard spot, or have someone back up Olu at center. Just get pieces in here to compete. I know that you want a draft that gives franchise altering. You want a draft that's giving QB1. That's just not what this draft is giving.
Second.
I want to we lost 90% of the audience.
Yeah, they're like, wow, can't continue with this. Okay. Second down, the position you do not want to see the Seahawks take at number 18.
No offense, but it's running back. I think there are a lot of exciting running backs in this class, and it is a great class for running backs in general, but you got to, no pun intended, walk before you can run. I don't think a lack of good running backs here in Seattle is why the Seahawks are bad with their rushing offense. Normally you look at a problem and you go, oh my God, like last year. Oh my God, we can't stop the run for the life of us. Let's add to that defensive line. Let's get like a good run stopper. Let's solve this problem. The Seahawks, are in theory entering this draft going, oh my God, we had no run game to support our passer. I don't think that you add running backs. I think you add to your interior offensive line. Fix that, and then try to get the most out of the day 2 picks you already have with Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet. By the way, there's a lot of depth in this running back class, like I said. So then add to that room with like a round 3 guy. I see no reason why you can't get great running back help on day 2.
Third down. Stacy, earlier we talked about athletes who can change their narrative with a championship. What is a local example of a non-athlete who can do that?
Matt Nelson. No, I'm just kidding. Matt, you're not.
Oh, it'd take a lot more than that to change this narrative, Stace.
No, I was thinking of front offices, and this was actually spawned in part from us talking about Tom Brady getting it done without Bill Belichick, and I'm just going to apply a very lazy narrative, but one that's still interesting, to John Schneider. John Schneider has drafted Pro Bowl talent, all pro talent. He's had amazing draft classes, and I know that got kind of quiet, and, he struck out on big blockbuster trades, struck out on a couple draft classes, and then had more success in the 2 recent moves. But I think that he can really cement his legacy by finding success without Pete. And I don't think that Pete was responsible for everything John did. I just think anytime you have this 14-year, multi-year partnership, everyone is going to wonder, what are they like without the other? And typically an athlete and a coach will get more attention than a GM and a head coach, but I think that relationship between the front office and coaching staff is just as interesting. So I'm going to be watching to see, not only what do John Schneider's moves look like when he's solely in charge, but what does the outcome look like? So I think that he's a under the radar, great answer.
4th down.
I just said my own answer was a great answer. Under the radar, this is the best 3rd down you've ever heard in your life.
4th down.
And I didn't convert.
What's a sports take pet peeve you have?
My sports take pet peeve is someone taking an athlete you don't like and then applying it to his athletic skills. For instance, no offense to this listener, but we were talking about athletes that have come really close and have never won a championship, and this person said Cam Newton has never won a championship, and guys who don't win championships or don't win rings are nothing but bums, and Cam Newton is the worst. Cam Newton was one of the best athletes I've ever seen in person. One of the best athletes I've ever seen in person, ever. He was also an MVP. It was an amazing season. His injury was shortened in part because of injury, and then in part because, maybe he just wasn't going to be one of the best ever. It's okay. But I think what people do is think, I don't like Cam Newton. I think he's selfish. I think he just tries to get attention. So therefore, Cam Newton was never a great athlete. Therefore, Cam Newton was never good. Stop it right now. We can all think of athletes we don't personally like. I think Aaron Rodgers seems incredibly pretentious. Seems super pretentious and kind of toxic. I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the best players I've ever seen play football. At his best, at his peak, was one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play this game. So I just want to say, hit a quick pause. I'm not telling us to always separate art from artist, but I'm saying don't let it impact your own analysis of the game. You sound dumb. If you were to come out and be like, Aaron Rodgers is never really that good, and I'm not comparing Newton and Rodgers, but what I'm saying is to say something like Cam Newton was never good, you sound stupid. Cam Newton was great for a very short period of time, and then, it's fair to say, did Cam Newton have leadership questions? Did Cam Newton have, maybe some character things that people didn't especially love? Those are fair. Those are fair points in analysis, but you can never say Cam Newton wasn't good. We know that he was. We saw it. We all saw it. Unless you are a 3-year-old tiny baby, you saw Cam Newton win MVP. I don't know what to tell you. The timeline's coming your way next.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the 1st round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin D3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
The Mariners have a great slate of giveaways and special events all season long. Don't miss your chance to score a City Connect Captain's Hat Friday, April 25th, and a Moose Shoulder Plush Saturday, April 26th. Then get ready for a special Mother's Day weekend at the ballpark Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th, featuring a clear purse giveaway for the first 10,000 moms on Sunday the 11th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Go to mariners.com/promos to get your tickets and check out the complete promotion schedule.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy. Curtis Rogers in for Michael Bumpus today. Bump probably celebrating Rory's win in the Masters. Oregon head coach Dan Lanning may or may not have tipped Tennessee off to some shady work at quarterback. That's our first story here in the timeline. Nico Imalieva, it's Imalieva? I don't know. I
think
keep
so.
messing it up. I should know this. He was just in a college football playoff. Was shopping himself around for a better NIL deal. Again, Dan Lanning notifying Tennessee of what he was hearing.
Dan, it's been a pretty big story the last 48 hours in college football. Did you contact Josh Heupel or anyone at Tennessee or
I'm not getting anything else except let's talk about a scrimmage today. The Ducks worked really hard at a scrimmage today.
Let's not, Dan. I want to talk about this.
It sounds like you know more than you're letting on.
What do you know? Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel spoke to the media.
Today's landscape of college football is different than what it has been. It's unfortunate, just the situation and where we're at with Nico. I want to thank him for everything that he's done since he's gotten here, as a recruit to who he was as a player and how he competed inside of the building. And so a great appreciation for that side of it. Obviously, we're moving forward as a program without him. I said it to the guys today. There's no one that's bigger than the Power T, and that includes me. And they hear me say that a lot inside of that team room. This program's been around for a long time with a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players that came before that laid the cornerstone pieces, the legacy, the tradition that is Tennessee football. It's going to be around a long time after I'm done and after they're gone.
Look, whether or not you're a Tennessee fan, and I doubt anyone listening is, right? Seattle Sports Radio. This is a fascinating story, because it highlights exactly where a drastically changing college football landscape, college sports landscape, is eventually going to lead for a couple schools, for probably a lot of athletes around the country, which is there are no guardrails. There are no rules.
Right.
What do you do when someone threatens to leave? Someone tries to sign with a new school. Someone can be bought from another program and leave and jump in a transfer portal before you kick off spring ball.
And I think it also goes to show that if you think your starting quarterback situation is settled at the college football level, like, I don't know, man, make sure that those NIL dollars are going to that quarterback's bank account, because I would imagine there are other quarterbacks out there that are looking at this situation and are saying, oh, there are schools out there that are willing to maybe increase what I'm getting from my school. And I would imagine a lot of Division I starting quarterbacks are probably getting six figures or more than that. I know John Mateer, what he got at Oklahoma was significantly more than what Washington State was paying him. And I think Washington State was willing to offer him a deal north of $1 million to be their starting quarterback heading into the 2025 season. That wasn't enough to keep him around. It's the price of doing business in college football right now. It's the whole ain't no fun when the rabbit's got the gun thing. And I think a lot of...
Never heard that saying before.
Exactly.
I'm going to throw a question your way, very related to the rabbits. When is it fair or not fair to bring in questions about morality and loyalty? Is there anything about this entire conversation that to you either really gets you going, gets you fired up, gets you... You're a huge... I mean, you're a college hoops fan, but obviously Arizona football, near and dear to your heart. You are a big Arizona loyalist.
Right.
And I know that your program's been hit by, in this case, a head coach leaving and in a program kind of disbanding entirely. And so I know that there's a frustration there, but I also know that at times you've advocated for, like, look, it's also like...
This is the right thing to do in terms of all these students maximizing their values, because again it goes back to the whole, like, well, if I'm not a student athlete, I can still make as much money as I want while in college. I can have any job that I want to have. The NCAA doesn't have to sign off on this history major over here making a lot of money selling things on Etsy or whatnot. Whereas if you're the quarterback of your school, you have to get NCAA approval on just about everything you do, and especially when it comes to any sort of money-making venture. I don't know if there's any loyalty in college athletics anymore, at least from an athlete perspective. Certainly from a fan perspective, there is. Like, I'm not going to switch up my loyalties after, having spent some very formative years of my life in Tucson, Arizona, and I don't think you're going to switch up your loyalties and start rooting for the Cougs or anything like that. That'd be very bizarre to see you do. But and I don't think Bump's ever going to stop rooting for the Cougs or anything like that.
us fans, we're so loyal to these programs, but again, like once dollars and cents come into the picture here, like that's what you're loyal to as an athlete, and that's what you're loyal to as a lot of these kids are, because how many of them are going to have this opportunity to make this kind of money post playing college sports?
Well, and how many athletes for whatever school you watch, and I know this is far more common, obviously, in college than it is in the pros, where a lot of guys, can stay local. But how many guys grew up rooting for that school? How many guys, like the schools try to go out and get the best athletes regardless of where they're from. So I always think about this, and I'm applying it to the pros, but when people are like, how dare so-and-so leave in free agency? And it's like, this guy was hired, drafted, signed, whatever, by this team, let's say 8 years ago, 4 years ago. If he's from Florida and he's playing for a team in Seattle, why does he, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it matters to him to go back to the East Coast, whatever it is. And so I think for all of us, we think, well, I would never, you couldn't pay me $1 million to not root for my school. And it's like, well, what about the job that you have that you got 3 years ago? Could someone pay you $1 million to leave that job? The answer for most of you is probably yes.
If somebody said, I will pay you $1 million if you never root for Arizona again, forks up, baby. Like,
wouldn't take much.
$1 million?
I'm just saying,
absolutely.
I think that being self-righteous
and you're
feels...
you're lying to yourself if you say you wouldn't do that.
Because being self-righteous feels good. It feels good to feel like you do the right thing. You're morally superior to someone else. It feels really good. I think where this conversation becomes more fascinating is recognizing that a lot of people would change who they play for, who they root for, what they do for money. So how do you make it to where the things that we claim to and genuinely do love about college football, like loyalty, like, I don't even know. A lot of people attend schools for generations, but just like a legacy and loyalty. How do you make sure you can sustain those things in a college football landscape now where it is largely driven by money? One, to accept that it's always been driven by success and money, and two, find a way to create guardrails yourself, because the NCAA won't.
Right.
They will not. So I don't know if it's the schools that need to do it. I don't know. And I don't know the legalese behind it. I don't know if it's booster clubs that need to create contracts. I don't know what the answer is, but there need to be some rules put in place.
Yeah. I think if you're not going to get that help from the NCAA, then I think the Power Four conferences just need to break off and just do their own thing, where the money flows freely and there's salary caps and there's all that. Now then you have players unions and whatnot. Like, then it gets into all this stuff about sports that is not fun, the whole CBA negotiations and stuff like that. It's all just like the toothpaste is out of the tube completely in college athletics, and there's nobody here to wipe it up. There's nobody here to clean it up. And I do kind of wonder, like, how feasible is it for college athletics to continue the way it has been over the last couple of years? Because, a lot of the smaller schools, and it obviously had a huge impact here in the state of Washington with Wazoo getting left in the dust by UW. Like, you kind of wonder about the future of those athletic programs where they can't throw around the kind of dollars that a Tennessee can and an LSU can. But maybe there's got to be a way to incentivize those programs who do lose players to the portal and be like, all right, well, you did lose this guy, but here's an extra $50,000 for developing that player.
Getting back to the Seahawks with Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta coming up in 20 minutes. What's going on with this team? Before we get to that, is Logan Gilbert taking a page out of Cal Raleigh's book?
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the new Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced new Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Spring cleaning isn't just for clutter. Let Benjamin Franklin Plumbing take care of your appliances. From water heater replacement or repair to advanced water filtration installation, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing is here to provide a worry-free summer for you and your family. Visit BenjaminFranklinPlumbing.com to schedule. You can count on the punctual plumbers, where your comfort and safety come first. Book now. Visit BenjaminFranklinPlumbing.com.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. Residential, commercial, and turf supply, with locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Need a new roof, but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy
Weekdays 10 to 2.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Is Logan Gilbert taking a page out of Cal Raleigh's book? Take a listen to Logan on Wyman and Bob.
I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but as far as one person signing with the team that's going to have the most influence on you is Cal being here. And that's what happened with him locking up however many years it was. So it definitely factors in. It's a big deal. That's the guy I've thrown to pretty much 90-something% of my career, and including the minors too. So, you know, there is risk with if you ever go somewhere else and you have a new catcher and a lot of things change. Cal knows me so well that I kind of dream up the perfect scenario of you think of like Wainwright and Yachty, how they had, 300 starts together or whatever it is. Like one day breaking that record would be pretty cool. I mean, a lot of things have to go right, but if I could throw to Cal the rest of my career, I'd do it.
Yeah, breaking that record would be pretty cool, as would keeping Logan Gilbert in Seattle.
Absolutely. And I mean, based off of just his tone in that answer, I mean, that's a guy that just seems so comfortable here and so comfortable throwing to Cal. And I mean, I don't know what you gathered from that, Stacy, but to me, that sounded like a guy that would definitely be willing to hear out the Mariners on any sort of like extension offer.
I've always felt like Logan might be a bit more open. Maybe it's because Kirby's from the area, but I've always thought like, oh, he might go back to the East Coast. Like I've never been super optimistic that the Mariners would be able to retain both Kirby and Logan. And because of that being just my general assumption based on nothing, I've always assumed Logan would be the likelier of the two to stay.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging to hear that from him.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no bond greater than the one between pitcher and catcher, and I think, you know, you look at the number of starts that Logan Gilbert has had with Cal Raleigh behind the plate. He mentioned how they've come up together. They've gone through the minor leagues together. It's not just their time together as Mariners, but it's in Double-A. It's here, in fact, of the 100 and I think 22 career starts that Logan Gilbert has made at the big league level, 84 have been caught by Cal Raleigh. He's thrown the only other catcher with any close to that amount is Tom Murphy with 30, and he hasn't been here in a couple of years. Mitch Garver's never caught Logan Gilbert. Like, that's his guy, is Cal Raleigh. The next highest after Tom Murphy, Luis Torrens.
Oh, who could forget? I remember
love
thinking, like, man, his bat has pop.
He did have one year where he had like 14 home runs, but so these two are definitely linked at the hip when it comes to just comfortability with each other. And I mean, I think every Mariner fan hears that from Logan Gilbert, and that is a very encouraging thing to hear, especially coming off the Cal Raleigh extension and kind of wondering, like, what's going to be the future of Logan Gilbert here? What's going to be the future of George Kirby here? Because you've checked off your two of the biggest boxes you can check off in extending Julio, and you've extended Cal. Can you do it with Logan Gilbert? His earliest free agency would be 2028, so he has arbitration this year in 26, next year in 27, and then 28 he'd be free agent. So 2 more years of arbitration before he's eligible for free agency. So the clock is ticking, but I'm not discouraged at all by what I heard over the weekend.
No, nor am I, and I'm encouraged by that coupled with the extension of Cal. Earlier in the show, we were talking about narratives. And a narrative, both you and I grew up here, And I know a narrative that we knew growing up, given our age, right? We were really young when, like, Alex Rodriguez left, for instance. So it was always, everyone always leaves. Like, that's the narrative
just the
around
Yankees
the
farm system.
Yeah, we both grew up, like, late 90s, early 2000s. So forget 95.
Right.
Like, we were too young. So it's
I have faint memories of 95.
the idea of the Mariners
vivid.
when both of us were young was, yes, you're a Yankees farm system. That, like, you can go and you can enjoy games and you can have these great memories as a kid, and there are still players you love, right? Edgar, whoever else, Ichiro, of course. But it was never great years. It was always, you just feed everyone else. So when you grow up with that narrative, and I know that there are people on either side of that generation that didn't, but when you grow up with that narrative, to me, what I loved most about Cal's extension and love most about the idea of Logan being extended is the idea of the Mariners. If you're going to be draft and develop, then keep the players you draft and develop. Then keep the players that work out for you. Don't just, if you're draft, develop, and then, move on from them, you're just a rental agency. Like, you're not really, you're renting players from outside and inside your organization. You're never really hanging on to great ones. Let guys be career Mariners. Let guys stay here who prove that they can help you be a World Series team, and then start to add and then start to build. So to know that retaining Cal, obviously, I'll throw on retaining Julio, that was an early and clear decision. And then, like, if you can retain Gilbert, that feels like a change.
Yeah, it does. And to that point that you just made, if you're not going to extend the talent that you've developed, you then become the A's, you become the Rays.
Yeah.
And then that puts an even greater emphasis on your talent development where you are not allowed any mistakes at all.
Make sure you hit on every single one.
You have to hit on every single one. There is no room for error when it comes to making sure that these guys get to the major leagues and are performing. Could you imagine, and I get that there were a ton of expectations hitched to, like, Jared Kelenic and whatnot, but, like, if the Mariners didn't have the rest of the guys around him, like, God, imagine how far that would have set back things if, like, Jared Kelenic, when he did not develop the way we thought he was going to. Like, that would have tanked everything if you're an A's or a Rays organization where you've kind of put everything. I mean, this is a horrific example, but, like.
Were you thinking Wander Franco?
Yes.
I was just going to say that.
Like.
It's true.
He was a very talented baseball player, and the Rays gave him a huge extension, and then everything went to.
It's actually a great example.
Went in the toilet, and look, the Rays are still kind of searching after that.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you try to build on that thin a margin, and they're known as being an excellent front office who is great typically at hitting on those prospects. Right. Like, I always think it's kind of unfair to compare the Mariners to them and go, like, well, really, you think you're going to have that success rate? But where's their World Series? You know what I mean? It's still such a tough way to build.
They've been to two.
Yeah, but where's
still
that
haven't
pennant?
done it. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think everything you heard from Logan Gilbert in that clip is 100% like from the heart with him. I don't think he was just kind of saying that to appease a fan base. I don't think he was just saying that to, play the PR game and to be like, all right, I gave the piranhas the pound of flesh that they were seeking.
Peasants.
Exactly. No, I think what he said in that clip with Wyman and Bob, which make sure to check that out on the YouTube page. It's there for you. I don't think that was him just, buttering us up. I think that was 100% from himself saying, like, yeah, I would love to be with Cal the rest of my career.
And look, we just spent 10 minutes in the timeline lamenting that there's not as much passion and genuine loyalty as there used to be in college sports. Here's a professional athlete seemingly with some of that right now. How refreshing. How cool to hear.
Yeah.
So reward it.
Get it done.
Yeah. Seattle Times' Bob Condotta joins us next.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike McDonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks. Are you kidding me? What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another leadership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to like teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here is I see people start out as like a lot porter, and people like work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
It's official. Newsmax has become a news giant. It's even listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Over 40 million Americans regularly turn to Newsmax for the news they need to know. They're tuning into the Newsmax channel on all major cable systems. They watch Newsmax 2 on all streaming platforms. They go online to newsmax.com for breaking headlines. Millions more have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphone and home TV. Reuters says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. Tens of millions of Americans like you have made the switch to Newsmax for the news they can trust. So make the switch today. You won't ever look back.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
The Mariners have a great slate of giveaways and special events all season long. Don't miss your chance to score a City Connect Captain's Hat Friday, April 25th, and a Moose Shoulder Plush Saturday, April 26th. Then get ready for a special Mother's Day weekend at the ballpark Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th, featuring a clear purse giveaway for the first 10,000 moms on Sunday the 11th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Go to mariners.com/promos to get your tickets and check out the complete promotion schedule.
Get up to $5,000 in local utility rebates, and Eastsiders save up to $6,000 with the Energy Smart Eastside program. Plus, Home Comfort Alliance is offering up to 10% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through April. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new, and First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Following their weekend sweep of the Rangers, the Mariners have an off day today. Luis Castillo on the mound tomorrow in that series opener against the Reds, his first start against his former team. You can get your Mariners fix tonight with extra innings, the latest Mariners news and updates, plus a series preview for Cincinnati at 7 p.m.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Checking in on the Seahawks with Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Bob, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Curtis is in for Bump today, and Bob, we were both just talking about what the addition of Drew Lock might mean for the Seahawks quarterback plans in the draft. Are you seeing it as increasingly less likely they take anyone, or is there still a possibility?
I think it's a little less likely they take one up high, and I think this also may be a result of, again, how they've sort of assessed how they think the quarterbacks are going to go and who they might be able to get at any spots in the draft, and sort of thinking that signing Drew Lock might be a better option than anything else they might get. I wouldn't rule out that a day 3 pick and maybe even something late day 2ish if something were to really fall for them unexpected. But a lot of times when the Seahawks make moves this late, it's a result as well of them really having a sense of the landscape, what they think is going to be logically available there versus other things they might want to do in places. And I think they could still take one somewhere. I just get the sense it probably means that they weren't going to take one at 18, and any of the guys that they thought might be worth taking at 50 and 52 maybe aren't going to be available there, and maybe aren't the kind of guys you want to make a move up to go try to get. So we're going to go ahead and fill the spot out now, and then kind of see if something surprising presents itself in the draft. You're still open to do it, but you don't have to force anything.
What do you think this means for Sam Howell and his future with the Seahawks?
Yeah, it's a lot more competitive. Certainly he's not I didn't think he was going to be, I don't think they had, inked him in as the backup by any means, because I do think they were considering what they might do in the draft. So I think one way or the other, they were going to add competition to that. But adding Drew Lock and a contract that's not overly huge, but, the initial wording of it was 2 years and $5 million, which is more than Sam Howell's 1 year and just over $1 million, none of which is guaranteed. I assume there's some guaranteed money somewhere in Drew Lock's contract. So, to me, that would present that the depth chart today would read Darnold, Lock, Howell, and Sam Howell's going to have to fight for that spot. So, he didn't obviously have a great showing the one time he got to play last year. That was a really tough situation to get thrown into. That game was not going well, by the time that happened anyway. But it's not just that. I mean, obviously they had all year to look at him as well, and they've obviously decided they needed to do more at that spot.
Talking with Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta right now. Bob, I remember when John Schneider at the Combine, I think, started talking about how it's a great class for running backs, and that ended up impacting, what do I think they might do? Do I think they're going to take a running back earlier than I otherwise expected? Has there been anything that you, as a reporter, have heard from either Mike Macdonald or certainly John Schneider that's impacted what you think they might do, or maybe a quote or a comment by the general manager that kind of sticks with you as you try to mock what might happen?
Well, I mean, you just presented the one there. Yeah, that was at the Combine when he said that. Yeah, he was asked specifically about the running back class, and that's been a pretty consensus opinion that this is a deep class, and in Ashton Genty, you've got a guy who might go. I mean, there's been guys go as high as 8 recently, so it's not like it'd be but it's not that it hasn't happened. But he still could go pretty high. Maybe he goes higher than that. And there's a few other guys that are being thought of really highly, and then it's just regarded as a pretty deep one. I think the Seahawks are always on the lookout for running backs. Again, I don't know if they would view it as a real huge specific need with, for next year's team with Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So I view it more as this is a year when I think, other than, say, Ashton Genty right at the top and a couple of the guys right at the top, I think the thought is there's 10 or 12 other guys that are pretty good that you could get somewhere in there. And I view it more as, they would probably want to try to grab one somewhere in the early day 3, maybe late day 2, depending on who falls to you. Kind of more that range. They did end up, injuries. 17-game seasons are hard to get through, and having depth there. That was why John Snyder used. There was a lot of question about why you took the two straight years. You took a running back in the second round, but they believe in the value of trying to have every week, assuring you have somebody available that you can count on. And this year, if they can add another guy to that, I think they probably will.
Bob, we've seen a couple of notable wide receivers make visits to the Seahawks. Mike Garafolo reporting Kyle Williams of Wazoo had a 30 visit, and then also Jordan Schultz reporting that Arizona's Tedero McMillan visited Seattle. Do you think the Seahawks take a receiver in the first 2 days, or is that maybe something that they look a little bit later on in the draft for?
I think they take a pass catcher somewhere in the first 2 days for sure, and by that I mean I think tight end could also be a spot where they really look to do that. So I think somebody else to add to the pass catching part, if you throw tight end into that, I think they for sure will do that. I'm kind of working on the 7-round mock draft that's going to run in the paper here later, and I'm going to have them take both a tight end and a receiver at some point in the draft because I do think they are going to want to do that. You do, again, in terms of immediate need, you kind of fill those with Cooper Kupp and Valdez-Scantling. But, both those guys are also up there in age a little bit. You are going to want to add some, I think, some young talent to that. So I think for sure with having 10 overall picks, they will do that. And, how great of a receiver class it is, I think there's some debate to that. And obviously that's why you bring, they bring guys in to try to get a sense of these guys a little bit better. But I think it makes sense for sure for them to take a receiver, and I could certainly see one. I don't know if first round. I do feel like this is one draft that I think they will look more best player available this year than I know they've always kind of tried to stress that they have, but I think more than ever with having 5 picks in the top 92. I do think they are going to try to lean a little bit more best player available. And if someone falls at 18, even if it's not something that we all think is, wow, that's, that doesn't fill a need, I think they might go, yeah, but that guy's by far, we have that guy rated, 18th on our big board and nobody else was in the top 30 or whatever, that kind of thing. I think this is the year more than ever they might lean on that. So I'm not ruling out a whole lot position-wise of what they would do early on, depending on who falls to them.
That being said, Bob, I'm guessing that at 18, it may not be an interior offensive lineman as the best player available, just based on the class and where interior linemen typically, grade or are drafted. Do you think that they would forego taking an interior lineman there and maybe go defense or something?
For sure, yeah. I mean, that's what I have them doing, and I think that's kind of becoming the growing consensus. Is that's probably the better place to do that. You could try to move down and try to do that maybe in the late first round. Again, as the draft is getting closer, that's another thing that I don't know that I think everybody wants to move down. Someone obviously has to want to move up for teams to move down. And so it doesn't sound like there's many teams that are going to want to move up. So it might be a little bit harder to do that this year than it has been in years past. But if you could, I think the Seahawks would probably love to do that if it were surely for an interior offensive lineman. But yeah, I by far get the sense that they would attack that a little bit more in the second and third rounds than in the first round. And every week John Snyder's on your station, he kind of makes the point again and again that they like a lot of the guys they have on their roster. They think the scheme change and the coaching changes are going to get more out of these guys. And I don't think that's just window dressing and trying to throw everybody off or whatever. I do think they think that. And so with that said, I don't think they feel like that's a need they have to force up high in the draft as much as people on the outside might think. I think if I don't think they're going to take a guard at 18 just to take a guard at 18 if they don't think if they don't have that guy rated, somewhere in the, if they don't have him rated that highly on their board, which given the way that it sounds like people are rating a lot of these guys, that may not be the case.
Bob, still, we're 10 days away, and still every team holds their original first-round pick. We have seen no movement in the first round. How surprised are you at the lack of trades and just the lack of moving up we've seen here just a week and a half away from Selection Day?
Well, the reason I'm not is because of, again, what is becoming the consensus of this class, that there might be 6 or 7 guys that people are like, yeah, we're really excited about that guy. We think he can come in and be a surefire, immediate impact player for us. And then I think the general thought is that, as people kind of talk about it, it's kind of a starter draft, but not necessarily a draft made up of a bunch of guys you think are going to be all pros immediately. And so I don't know that there's a lot of guys in the draft that are compelling teams to want to trade up. And so that's generally where anything starts, is some team that wants to move up. It's harder to just say, yeah, we want to move down and have a team move up and give you a bunch of things that you want. Usually it starts the other way around a little bit more. So I think that's kind of why. And I think some of the movement at the top of the draft, maybe that happens more as the draft unfolds and people see who really starts coming off the board. I think it might be a little bit more of a draft that way for that reason, where it becomes, you suddenly see, wow, this guy's falling, so we want to move up to get him. I think teams may be kind of playing it closer to the vest that way this year, again, because of the idea that I think that really is kind of a consensus that there are a lot of teams have fewer first round grades on guys than they've had in the past.
You mentioned, this could be a draft where there are a lot of starters, particularly on day 2, but maybe not a lot of Pro Bowl or All-Pro players. Curtis and I had a conversation lately about, what's the thing that the Seahawks team feels like it's missing? And it was a bit more abstract, a really, really great offensive line, or an All-Pro tight end might be one of them. But we kind of talked about, does it feel like it's missing star power? Does it feel like it's missing an edge on defense? What does it feel like it's missing? I hate throwing such an abstract question your way, but while we're talking about addressing needs, Bob, you've covered this team for many years and many iterations of this team. Is there something it feels like it's missing compared to the more successful versions of Seahawks teams you've covered?
Well, if you go back to the Super Bowl teams, it doesn't have, right now, they don't have as many guys that I think you look at for sure as these guys, they're going to have 4 or 5 Hall of Famers. Those teams were so rare in the amount of talent that they had. And I think with every passing year, that becomes a little bit more evident. And so, I think that's a given. Not breaking news there that, right now, I don't know that they have quite as much of the top line talent as those teams had. I do think there's some young players on this team that can still take a step forward and develop, and that the overall can still be pretty good with this team. But I just think, with 5 of the top 92 picks, that's where I really do feel like they are probably, as much as ever, really going to want to try to go best player available and add as much talent as you can, and just there's maybe from the outside it can seem like, wow, why are you drafting that guy? Because you already seem to have like say quarterback. You can look at their quarterback spot and go with Woolen and Witherspoon. You have 2 sure starters there in your base defense. But if they see, if at 18 they're like, there's a cornerback there who we think is better than anybody else on our board, I could see them doing that, because I do think this is a year when you do have that many picks up high, you can say we can just kind of go best player available, and in doing that, we'll end up getting guys at all the spots where maybe it's perceived that we need to get guys. But other than the offensive line, I don't know that you look at too many spots and go, they've really got to add guys there for depth reasons. And then offensive line, I think the Seahawks might have a little bit of a different opinion of that, as I've said, with some of the young guys that they have on the roster than other people have as well. So, I think they feel like they're probably a little bit better positioned to go that route, which is why, I know a lot of people debate, McMillan, the receiver, whether that's something they need, to take at 18. Why would you take a receiver at 18 when you've done these other things? But I do think that maybe this year more than ever, again, is just a year they just need to try to add as much elite talent to this roster overall as they can.
Bob, what have you made of kind of the back and forth between Geno and the Seahawks ever since Geno signed that extension with Vegas, and him making those comments to Albert Breer and kind of saying stuff in his press conference in Vegas? What did you kind of make of what Geno has had to say about the end of his time here in Seattle?
Yeah, well, I don't think Geno took too many shots at the Seahawks. He said he had no hard feelings and all that. I do just think he wanted to explain himself a little bit on why he felt like he's going to be better off with the Raiders than he is with the Seahawks, which, I don't think that's uncommon when guys kind of move teams that way. I think they try to sell the idea that they're going to be better off where they are in their current spot than they might have been where they were. I think there was I think Geno at times felt a little bit underappreciated for what he had done in Seattle, and I think that became evident last year when he asked the team. He wanted the team to redo his contract last off season. And, we asked him about it, and he said that on the record. So that's not a secret that he wanted to do that. And, the team stuck to its precedence of doing that. And I think Geno just felt like, the contract he had signed the first time around was really team friendly. And I think he felt like this time he wanted to get what he felt he was deserved and not give the team any breaks, which I think he felt like he sort of did in 2023. And I think when he got the sense that maybe the Seahawks had a slightly different opinion of that, I think that's when he felt like he was maybe going to call their bluff a little bit. And then I think maybe the Seahawks called his bluff a little bit by pulling off that trade as quickly as they did. And, I think it was just, this is big business. And in Geno's case, I think it's where he's reached a state, the part of his career. And, he does turn 35 in October, where I think he felt like he really wanted to get the best deal he could for himself this time and not give any breaks to any team or anything like that. Like he really needed to look out for himself this time, and he felt like he put himself in a position to do that with the 3 years he'd had. And, the teams have to do that as well. So, I don't feel like this was a hugely fractured relationship like with Russell Wilson at the end or anything like that. I just think it was, the Seahawks, they didn't win a playoff game in the 3 years they had Geno Smith, and they only got there once. And I'm not saying that's Geno's fault, but I think if you're the Seahawks, you could look at it as, I think each side looks at things that way, like where are we? Can we be better going forward, or is this the best thing we can have, for what people are asking? So I just think there's a lot of things like that at play. But my sense would be if I doubt that long term. I think I think long term Geno Smith will look back on his time with the Seahawks fondly, and I think the Seahawks will look back at the Geno Smith era fondly as well as having really helped them move on from the Russell Wilson era.
He is Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Bob. Have a good one.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, thanks a lot, you guys. Yep, bye.
Before we get to headline rewrites, Curtis, do you agree with Bob? I thought it was an interesting final statement from Bob of in hindsight, maybe you go years down the road, I think that Geno Smith will look back on his time with Seattle, and the Seahawks will, in kind, look back at their time with Geno fondly. Do you think that fans in the Seahawks will look back at? I do. I'm not saying this to start up some polarizing hot take. I think that in hindsight, because there was so little at stake, people will look back at the Geno Smith era and go, "Oh yeah, Geno Smith, that was fun."
I think yes, considering how bad things could have gone after the Russell Wilson trade, you got a lot out of Geno Smith that I don't think any of us expected. I think if he had his years maybe in reverse, where if he had his 24 season in 22 and 22
ended
and
with
24.
A comeback player of the year. Or not comeback, but ended with his 2020.
Ended with 30 touchdowns and whatnot. I think people would be like, all right, this guy is our guy. But
would they be saltier about him leaving?
Probably. I think so. I think time heals all wounds. And I think there are still some Seahawks fans that are just kind of like, what the heck? They're just so dumbfounded as to why the Seahawks would let Geno Smith walk. And I ultimately think it was a Geno decision rather than a Seahawks decision as to why Geno Smith is not in a Seattle uniform.
I agree, and I can't blame him at all. I mean, you think about it from Geno's point of view. Curtis, literally last week, you were saying it's become more clear than ever that there were, in fact, Pete guys and John guys, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that at any point John didn't co-sign on Geno being the starter or certainly bring Geno here on a contract and give him an extension. John did those things. But if you're Geno Smith, just think about if you're anyone. Let's say that you're just a normal person at your normal job and maybe there's a mentor, a boss, another coworker that you just have a better relationship with. And you think this person believes in me. This person believes that I can be even better than I am now. And then let's say there's someone else, maybe a boss at another company, maybe a boss at your company, whoever, who doesn't seem to think that. And they're fine with you, but you know that your expectation of yourself is higher than their expectation of you. That would hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you bitter. It doesn't make you angry. It doesn't make you hate them, but it makes you say, well, I want to be around this head coach, this mentor, this boss, whoever it is, who has even higher expectations for me than I do at times.
Yeah.
Of course you do. That's
right.
so normal.
If the NFL were just simply a 9-to-5 office job and Gino's regional manager
Everything would be so easy.
went and took a job at the Vegas branch.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I really got along with that guy. I really wish I could go work for that guy.
Yeah, people would be
again.
like, totally.
And then the Vegas branch manager dials over and was like, hey, I got a spot for you.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of make things work on your end and you could be with me again. And like, think of it in that way. That's pretty much how it went down.
Well, and I don't quite get if there is any bad blood or is any frustration, why? If you're someone who didn't like Gino, you already never thought he'd win you a Super Bowl. Why, for any reason, would you be upset with Gino? The only thing I can think of is people who maybe misinterpreted Gino's comments and thought it was a slight towards Seattle, as opposed to, I just felt like I had more respect from Pete Carroll, that Pete Carroll just respected me as a player in a different way.
Yeah, and I think, that bond between Gino and Pete, I don't think that was ever going to be something that the Seahawks were going to get in between of. And it's not like the Seahawks didn't want Geno Smith back. It's not like they were like, okay, see you, buddy. No, they made him an offer, and Gino said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And didn't make a counteroffer. And the Seahawks were kind of like, well, what do we do? What do you want us to do here? Like,
and who can blame them for that?
Right. And so they made the smart decision to cut their losses and be like, you know what? If he doesn't want to be here, let's move him. Now, did they get enough in return for him? I think that might be something that Seahawks fans are a little bit frustrated with. And I think you could have gotten maybe more in terms of what coming back for any sort of starting quarterback trade. Like, Geno Smith is a good starting quarterback in the NFL.
But a weird thing about Geno Smith, one of the most quarterback needy teams, arguably two of them, are teams he's played for.
Yeah, the Jets and the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was any other quarterback,
and
maybe
if you're
the
one
Giants,
of those teams, can you sell to your fan base, hey, we're bringing back this guy who, at least in terms of his career with the Jets, that you booed out of town, that you told him, like, you're not good enough to even be our starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think the Jets would have ever been able to sell that to their fan base. The Giants probably a little bit more because Geno started like 3 games for them. It was a very short stint he had with the Giants. Now, Geno was also remembered amongst Giants fans as the guy that broke Eli Manning's start streak, which is a weird bit of history that Geno has with that fan base. But, I think the 3rd round pick to me is kind of the one thing about that trade that I'm kind of like, really?
Do you think it was like a John Schneider or Pete Carroll, like, hey, I know you, I trust you, Geno clearly wants to go here, like, we're just making it good for all parties involved?
I think possibly. I think trading Geno to where he wanted to go and who he wanted to play for, maybe that's the Seahawks just kind of doing right by him. Well, they could have sent him to Cleveland. They could have sent him to the Jets. Yeah. They could have sent him anywhere else in the NFL.
That's a lot more respectful to take you where you want to go. 425. The offer wasn't that disrespectful compared to what he signed for. I think the guaranteed money in year 2 is what the Raiders were basically telling him by guaranteeing him money in 2026. You don't have to look over your shoulder all year. Yeah. Whereas the way that the Seahawks structured Geno's contract was total precedent. Nothing weird about it.
Yeah.
But I think Geno felt like, well, but I'm a quarterback and I've given you so much.
Yeah.
And what else do you have besides me? Why wouldn't you commit to me in 2026? Why wouldn't you let me get a shot in 2026 to keep this job? I don't blame Seattle for that at all. Yeah. I also don't blame Geno for, like, I don't know that I would have used the word respect. I would have used the word belief. I would have said, I wanted a front office that really believed in me. And so that would have been the difference for me. But anyways, fascinating conversation. Ended up scrapping headline rewrites, but I liked that one a lot more. Yeah. Derek Carr's status in 2025 might have just changed the Saints draft plans. That's next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
couple of pre-draft visits this week. What are you seeing?
If I'm Sam Howell, I see that headline yesterday that Jalen Milroe is in town for a visit. I'm kind of looking over my shoulder like, this is going to be go time.
Every day at 7:45.
Milroe, for me, he's the most intriguing of that bunch because of that plus skill set. This is a deep draft. Not a lot of filet, but there's some really good sirloin. And in the middle rounds, there could be some sirloin at quarterback.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
If you're looking for a new Mazda, go see our friends at Mazda of Everett. With over 790 new Mazdas in stock at 11409 Highway 99 in Everett, they have something for every budget and credit type. Save up to $3,970 on new Mazda CX-5s. Come meet the team and see why they've been Washington's largest Mazda dealer since 2015. Exceptional service and always their lowest prices. Visit in-store or online at MazdaofEverett.com today. MSRP for stock number 26315 is $30,585.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number 2. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Are the Seahawks, are the Saints a sure thing at this point to take Shedeur Sanders? Derek Carr's status for 2025 is up in the air because of a shoulder injury. ESPN's Dan Graziano, or Curtis as they say in Italian,
Graziano,
was asked about the Saints' draft plans with Carr's availability now uncertain.
If the Saints like Shedeur Sanders as their franchise quarterback of the future, then they should have been taking him anyway, like regardless of any Derek Carr injury news. So that's the question. Do they now force a pick at number 9 overall because Carr is a question mark? I would say probably not. They should probably be approaching it the same way they would have anyway, and then the mission is to get Carr to come play for them and then, maybe use the 9 pick to make yourself a better team, give him a better chance to succeed this year.
Okay. I am still expecting them to take Shedeur Sanders, and Dan's saying, look, if they were already set on Sanders, like, whatever Derek Carr's doing wouldn't have changed their mind, but,
It feels like the situation, though, in New Orleans for a rookie quarterback to come in is just walking into a buzzsaw.
Yes.
With that horrific cap situation, there's just no space for the Saints to improve. There's no space for them to get better as a team. And, I mean, yes, Shedeur Sanders, I think, represents an upgrade over Derek Carr at this point in his career. But I don't think Shedeur Sanders is good enough to be to have a Jaden Daniels kind of impact, the way Daniels elevated Washington. I think it's going to take some time for Sanders to be that kind of quarterback in the NFL. But yeah, New Orleans they're in such bad shape. I saw a couple people, I think Jordan Reed of ESPN, one of their draft analysts, he was like, man, if you're the Saints, I think you just bite the bullet with Spencer Rattler this year and hope to then draft a quarterback next year. Just tank this season.
How'd they get into this? Bad contracts, just bad. Like, who's your capologist? Horrible contract decisions?
I don't know what specific move it was that got them in this spot, but I know they were paying Drew Brees a lot of money, Michael Thomas a lot of money, Alvin Kamara a lot of money. I mean, there was just a ton of big contracts on their roster at one point.
Yeah. It might have been trying to hang on to why did I almost say Bledsoe? Trying to hang on to the Drew Brees era for longer than they should have, because there was that. So in 2017, they have this great draft class. That was the Alvin Kamara. They take Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, everything.
Yeah.
And then I want to say 2018, was that the loss to the Rams? That heartbreaking NFC, clear pass interference.
Yes.
It might have been that, that era, 2017, 18, maybe even heading into 19, maybe, was you should have been so much better, and you just had horrible, horrible playoff luck. And then going into maybe 20, beyond that, you maybe should have turned it off and reset then.
Yeah,
but instead, because you came so close, maybe they were we're not that far.
We can just push this off for another season. And
maybe that's what happened.
Also, I don't think they had any sort of plan in place after Drew Brees and after Sean Payton. I think they were just hoping that those guys would stay in New Orleans for as long as possible, and eventually they both said adios, and now the Saints are back to being what they were pre-Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and just a complete afterthought,
which is just bad.
A nothing franchise.
The good news for the Cowboys is that Micah Parsons is attending voluntary workouts. Here's Peter Schrager on Jerry Jones' approach to a Parsons extension.
Jerry wants it to be a family business, and he wants to look the guy in the eye, and Jerry wants to be the one who is going to make a deal. This is very close and personal to Jerry Jones. It's going to be the second biggest contract Jerry Jones ever signs, of course, to Dak Prescott, which he did last year. And I believe Jerry Jones wants to deal with Micah. And the second you start talking about agents, it's like, no. What do you want him to say? I really respect the guys that athletes first. Like, that's not coming out of Jerry Jones's voice. That's not what he's doing. He wants it to be on his terms. And I'll tell you guys this. I think Jerry enjoys the art of the deal more than the football sometimes. He loves the business of the game, and it's very close, and it's very personal to him. Is there an urgency? Guess what? There's no GM there that has to report to an owner. A lot of times these GMs, like, every time I walk in the door, I've got the owner saying to me, when's this deal going to get done? Where are we at? Jerry plays both roles.
Right.
This is close to him. It's personal. He referenced Emmitt Smith and Deion Sanders in deals that he's done before. That is close to 40 years ago. That is the world Jerry's living in. He wants it to be a personal business, and he wants to look his player in the eye.
Don't forget that just a couple weeks ago, there was a report that Micah Parsons is aiming to become the first $200 million defender with this extension from the Cowboys. That would make him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
I think the deal gets done between the Cowboys and Micah Parsons, but yeah, the way Peter Schrager talks about how Jerry kind of approaches this as though it's like 30 to 40 years ago, I think that's kind of been a big issue with the Cowboys, is that Jerry still thinks because they won it immediately after him taking over as owner, winning it in 92, 93, 95.
That it stopped time.
Like that's just...
That's where he is.
I won in 92. I won in 93.
Yeah.
Why can't I win in 2025? It's
yeah.
Because the entirety
Everything
of the NFL
changed.
Is different.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, and I also, I wonder about that approach. Does he think that doing so will get more loyalty from players, show more respect? In theory, it would. But, like, do you think that players will take less? Last time I checked, buddy, you still ended up paying Dak Prescott a monster deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, the Cowboys are...
CeeDee Lamb got paid.
Yeah, they're fascinating to me, man, because, like, Jerry sometimes ends up paying these monster deals. DeMarcus Lawrence at one point. But
Zeke.
Yeah, but it always is after this long period of, like, will they hold out? What's going on here? Will it be an issue? Will they get traded? What's going to happen?
They exhaust me.
The Cowboys?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones?
The Cowboys. Like, I don't know how people who are fans of that team remain fans of that team
The
after
90s.
every year. Yeah. The 90s were a hell of a decade.
The 90s. And I will say this is a hot, I don't even think it's a hot take. I think they have, like, top 3 uniform in
they
football.
Look beautiful.
Yeah, I think that they're super
Star's
simple.
iconic.
Yeah, it's one of the best football uniforms, period. Color combos, period. I'm always shocked when people love, like, Jacksonville or the Titans. I think they have horrible colors.
Old Jacksonville was better when they had a little bit more gold. I'm not talking like Blake Bortles era gold.
Right.
I'm talking like Mark Burnell, Fred Taylor era gold. Those are some good jerseys.
You know, other great jerseys, again, 2 teams no one likes, Patriots.
They have not. Their throwback
How are they
jerseys.
drastically different? They're the Cowboys plus red.
I like their 80s throwback jerseys.
With the man?
Yeah, with the, I think his
The
name's
human
Pat
mascot?
Patriot. Yeah. But their current uniforms, they just look bland. Like, even the Brady uniforms had at least a little bit to them.
What current good NFL team has horrible uniforms? I already have my answer.
A good NFL team with horrible uniforms. A sort of a mid team that has horrible uniforms is the Falcons. I don't like those.
Yeah, I don't usually like red or pink. There's no pink uniform, but with black.
A good NFL team with horrible uniforms.
A good NFL team with horrible uniforms.
I mean, the Giants are kind of boring.
They're boring, but not bad.
Right.
So it depends on your definition of good. They did not make the playoffs, but they have elite offensive talent, the Bengals.
I don't mind their uniform. I think these uniforms are way better than the Andy Dalton era jerseys. Those are horrible.
Yeah.
Those are so bad.
Someone
These ones are
said,
better.
Stacy, your hatred of teal is coming through. That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. I can't fight it. All right. What separates the most recent version of the Seahawks, aka last year, aka heading into 2025, this current version of the Seahawks, from the Super Bowl eras? We asked Bob Condotta, who obviously covered, at least the most recent Super Bowl era for the Seahawks. Hey, what was the difference? What did you see on that team that they're missing now? Can they get that? We're going to have that conversation at 1. Before we get to it, did taking Drew Lock mean, or does taking Drew Lock mean the Seahawks are not going to draft a quarterback? I assumed the answer was, yeah, of course they won't, but maybe I'm wrong. That's next.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike Macdonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on Draft Day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The Mariners have a great slate of giveaways and special events all season long. Don't miss your chance to score a City Connect Captain's Hat Friday, April 25th, and a Moose Shoulder Plush Saturday, April 26th. Then get ready for a special Mother's Day weekend at the ballpark Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th, featuring a clear purse giveaway for the first 10,000 moms on Sunday the 11th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Go to mariners.com/promos to get your tickets and check out the complete promotion schedule.
We are Seattle Sports. 7:10 a.m. on your radio. Streaming through the Seattle Sports app. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
The Mariners are all about giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners value games, you can score seats starting at $10 on select dates all season long. Plus, be sure to check out the expanded Mariners value menu. Available every game and featuring 14 items, all under $5. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos, new treats like Pocky Sticks and Little Bites mini muffins, and more. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your value game tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Let me tell you about a test. This is a real test that Lydia Cruz and I did years ago. There was a putter in the office, and we left it in the sports pit, which is our main area where all the sports hosts and producers work and writers. And we left it propped up against the middle pillar of the room. And our scientific theory was that anyone who came in, but particularly the men who worked here, that they would come in and no matter what, they would grab the putter, and in the middle of a conversation, they'd start talking, but then they'd practice their swing. Were we right, Curtis?
I was not one of those guys, by the way.
We were right, though. We were right.
Yes.
The leader was, I think, Mike, Kyle. Brady was still here at the time. He'd do it a bit, but Mike and Kyle the most.
Bump were here back then. He would
every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. But we had a running tally of who grabs the putter the most often.
Right.
I think that an unintentional scientific study that we've created here is that there's a baseball bat in the control room where Matt Nelson is right now. During every commercial break, almost every commercial break, and certainly just randomly throughout the week, one Curtis Rogers will go in there and pick up the bat for no reason. There's no reason, but it's
there is a reason, though.
I don't know what it is. It's
there is a reason.
Is it like a dog whistle?
No.
You can't turn away from
it's feeling that surge go through your hands. It's like, man, I could hit this one 400 feet.
I'm just saying.
Just give me a pitch right now.
I'm just saying there is something about it is I don't even moths to a flame. There is something about leaving a baseball bat, a putter.
At least I'm practicing for a real sport.
Right. There's something about leaving it that I am telling you, just watch. Just leave it propped up against something and watch like a study, and you will see people flock to it. And by people, I mean dudes.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I'm unashamed in how many hacks I get in per show.
Can I be so real?
Yes, Matt.
You should be ashamed.
You should.
Not fully ashamed, but you should every time you pick it up be like, I'm a grown man.
No.
I just think we should do the same study for the sports pit. Let's leave it propped up against the pillar in the middle of the sports pit.
The thing is, I know my athletic limitations.
Sure.
I'm not going to be like, I'd go pro
No,
right now.
no, I know that, but I'm telling you right now, you guys, during breaks, let's say that like 1:30, we don't quite have anything solidified. Curtis will come in with the bat and he'll start swinging, practice swings, and he'll be like, so I like this sound we had earlier. What are you doing?
That's me. That's so me.
God. Okay.
Swinging bats, liking sound.
Oh, God. We had Bob Condotta, Seahawks reporter for the Seattle Times, on with us to begin the hour. And one of the questions we asked him was, does Drew Lock's signing mean the Seahawks will not, absolutely not, take a quarterback in the draft?
I think it's a little less likely they take one up high. And I think this also may be a result of, again, how they've sort of assessed how they think the quarterbacks are going to go and who they might be able to get at any spots in the draft, and sort of thinking that signing Drew Lock might be a better option than anything else they might get. I wouldn't rule out that a day 3 pick, and maybe even something late day 2ish if something were to really fall for them unexpected. But a lot of times when the Seahawks make moves this late, it's a result as well of them really having gotten a sense of the landscape, what they think is going to be logically available there versus other things they might want to do in places. And I think they could still take one somewhere. I just get the sense it probably means that they weren't going to take one at 18, and any of the guys that they thought might be worth taking at 50 and 52 maybe aren't going to be available there, and maybe aren't the kind of guys you want to make a move up to go try to get. So we're going to go ahead and fill the spot out now, and then kind of see if something surprising presents itself in the draft. You're still open to do it, but you don't have to force anything.
Curtis, let me tell you what I love about Bob's answer.
Yeah.
It was basically, not necessarily. They might still take someone. They might.
Yeah, I don't think it completely shuts the door on Seattle looking at a rookie quarterback in this draft, but I don't think it leaves the door open all that much. Now, as we know, trying to predict what the Seahawks do in the draft is a very futile task. Like, there's very little that anybody can predict in terms of what John Schneider is going to do when he has control of that draft board. I think I assume one of their picks is going to be running back, because it always is. Very rarely do they leave a draft without a running back taken. Very rarely do they leave a draft without a defensive back taken. I think those two spots you could probably lock in as two groups that they are going to look at in this draft. I get that you've got Walker and Charbonnet, but you're going to definitely look at a running back. Quarterback,
What if it's like okay, so Benjamin Solak had his latest mock, which was specifically, it's by position, which I think that's a really cool way to do a mock. So it'll be like, here's a 7-round mock for quarterbacks, like the best fits and where they could go. The day 3 guys, he's got Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, Will Howard as a 6th-round pick, Riley Leonard as a 6th-round pick, Quinn Ewers as a 6th-round pick. I mean, these are pretty low risk.
Low risk.
Not even high reward. It's just like a you're just
you're drafting a backup. At that point.
Sure. Throw on an extra set of fries. Throw on a taco. Why not? I might not eat it, but it's only $2.
Cost extra 50 cents.
Yeah,
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, would you feel about I'm talking late day 3. Round 4 would obviously be early, but what about round 5, 6?
I'd be all right with it, but then it's kind of like, well, you've already got a Sam Howell, you've already got a Jaron Hall here. Like, there's not much difference between bringing in a 5th or 6th or 7th round quarterback than what you've already got here. I think once it gets down to like 6th or 7th round, you're kind of like, well, you might be able to get that guy in undrafted free agency at that point. Like, maybe spend that draft pick on another position and then hope that guy's available once undrafted free agency opens up immediately after the draft. But I don't see anything happening on the quarterback front day 1 or day 2.
No, I don't see day 1 or day 2. I really don't, and I'm okay with that. I think that you can simultaneously be not sold on Sam Darnold and not sold on them addressing quarterback with a rookie this year, particularly early.
Yeah.
Out of selfishness, purely selfish reasons. It would not be a good financial decision. You could probably still add to special teams with those picks rather than take a quarterback, but purely out of selfish reasons, I would be very intrigued by them, like you, adding a quarterback on day 3. Particularly if that one has, people are already kind of talking about Will Howard. People have already been talking about Kyle McCord.
Yeah. I hope we don't look back on the rookie quarterback classes of 23 and 24 the way we do the shortstop free agents classes when we talk about the Mariners of like, because especially with the Seahawks having that top 5 pick, I know Devin Witherspoon has been great his first 2 seasons, like no complaints about him.
But so too is Jalen Carter.
Right, and so too has, I mean, C.J. Stroud wasn't what he was his rookie season, but I still think he has a lot of upside as a quarterback in the NFL.
Well, that offensive line regressed.
Right, and then you see what like Michael Penix showed in a couple of starts with the Falcons last year. Bo Nix got the Broncos to the playoffs. I mean, there were a lot of you weren't probably ever going to be in the mix for Jaden Daniels.
Are you saying you hope that we don't look back and wonder if they should have traded up?
Yeah, because I mean, you had a top 16 pick last year. How much would you have had to give up to move up to 10 to get Michael Penix?
True.
Probably another first rounder, but still, it's not a huge leap to go from 16 to 10. Whereas I think the hope for the Seahawks is to continue to win and to continue to build off of what they've done. And that means probably picking in the 20s and going from pick number 20 to pick 3 in a trade. That's going to be really tough to pull off.
Think of the best versions of Seahawks team you've seen. Maybe for some of that, it's 2005. For a lot of you, it's probably 2013. Maybe even 12 and 14 on either side. What feels most different comparing that team and this year's Seahawks? That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk. Weekdays 6 to 10.
The number 9 draft profile, the tight end, Colson Loveland.
There is no struggle as a pass catcher. This may be, that he may turn out to be, that next great NFL tight end. Because of this system, tight ends are going to be so unbelievably valuable. When you got a unicorn, and he would be a unicorn sitting there. There's a possibility.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our friends at Mazda of Everett always offer you their lowest price. Shop over 800 new Mazdas online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click on Get the Mazda of Everett price for their best deal. Shop MazdaofEverett.com or stop in and meet our friends at Mazda of Everett located in Everett at 11409 Highway 99. If you're shopping for a new car, make sure our friends at Mazda of Everett are on your list.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code GROW. Swishradio.com, code GROW.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, Prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Asset Roofing was founded with the aim of shielding the community from liabilities that may arise from hiring a contractor. Bob Stelton here, and I love their slogan. You're either hiring an asset or you're hiring a liability. Now, I've been there, and you probably have too. Hiring a contractor that showed up late, delivered shoddy work, or went over budget. Asset Roofing is the opposite of a bad contractor. Their business model is to deliver honest and transparent solutions, becoming a valuable asset for both clients and their communities. Now, I experienced it firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and then again when I had him do work on my roof. Now, these guys are the best in the business, and I highly recommend Asset Roofing to local homeowners. Now, this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing. Ask them about their specialty, metal roofs. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house. Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Following their weekend sweep of the Rangers, the Mariners have an off day today. Luis Castillo on the mound tomorrow in a series opener against the Reds, his first start against his former team. You can get your Mariners fix tonight with extra innings, the latest Mariners news, analysis, updates, plus a series preview against Cincinnati at 7 p.m. hosted by Curtis Rogers.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
I'm going to spoil the answer to my own question here and say the answer is a lot. But if I ask you, Curtis Rogers, and for Michael Bumpus, or you listeners, what is the most obvious difference between this Seahawks team we've got here in Seattle right now and the Seahawks team that, let's say, last won a Super Bowl, or just in general that era of Seahawks? And you could take it even further back. Like if you are partial to kind of 2005 and maybe that's your iteration of the best possible team, maybe you think of that one. But between a Super Bowl Seahawks team, one that we've seen, and this version, what is to you the single biggest, most obvious difference?
The most obvious difference to me is the depth of the Super Bowl champion and also NFC champion the following season Seahawks teams and this one. The depth of that wasn't just on the roster, but also within the coaching staff. You had Pete Carroll, Super Bowl winner, Dan Quinn, who took the Falcons to the Super Bowl just a few years later, and then also just took the Commanders back to the playoffs for the first time in forever. You had Robert Saleh on that coaching staff. You had Ken Norton. You had Chris Richard. Like, it was just dudes everywhere on that coaching staff. Not to mention that on both sides of the ball, you were super, super deep in terms of your talent. I mean, people talk about the Super Bowl champion wide receiver group as being pedestrian, but look at the names. Percy Harvin, Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Sidney Rice. Like, it was.
You had Zach Miller as a pass catcher, tight end, but people,
Right.
like, in hindsight, loved Zach Miller. Every time I mentioned Seahawks tight ends, people, Zach Miller.
Right. You had
Automatic
depth
reaction.
everywhere on the defensive side of the ball, to the point where guys like Byron Maxwell, who eventually was elevated to the starting role after Brandon Browner left, but Maxwell got a huge payday from, I think it was the Dolphins, right out of free agency. Walter Thurman got paid. There were just guys everywhere on that defense that, I mean, Malcolm Smith was kind of an afterthought and was named Super Bowl MVP.
Right. Should have been Cam.
Right. So the depth to me is what stands out about those teams compared to what it is right now, where you just don't have that second unit that you look at and be like, oh, yeah, these guys could be starters anywhere else. Like, no, that team stands out in terms of just how deep they were.
Before I get to my answer, before I get to the text line, chime in, 866-979-3776. We had Bob Condotta on at noon. Here's what he said.
Well, I mean, if you go back to the Super Bowl teams, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have right now. They don't have as many guys that I think you look at for sure as these guys. You know, they're going to have 4 or 5 Hall of Famers. I mean, those teams were so rare in the amount of talent that they had, and I think with every passing year, that becomes a little bit more evident. And so, I mean, I think that's a given. Not breaking news there that. You know, right now, I don't know that they have quite as much of the top line talent as those teams had. I do think there's some young players on this team that can still take a step forward and develop, and that the overall can still be pretty good with this team.
So Bob's answer was almost the opposite of yours, but still both looking at personnel and the roster itself. Curtis, yours was, look, your backups got jobs as starters elsewhere.
Yeah.
Bob's was, and your best players were better at their job than almost anyone you have now.
Right.
Like Richard Sherman is better than your top corner, despite your top corner being a number 5 overall pick. I know he plays a little nickel, but your top edge rushers were better than your edge rushers.
Yeah.
Your
linebackers.
Your linebackers were better than your linebackers now. I mean, technically, your receiver room right now depleted of talent, even though I would argue you've had some really solid receiver rooms since then. Your quarterback, your running back, your offensive line. At almost every single position on that 2013 roster, you could go, that's better than what you have now, regardless of depth, regardless of who was backing him up. And thankfully, those players almost all stayed healthy. And I think that as we turn and look to the draft, I wonder if people start feeling a little out of options there, because I don't know that this is a class where you add that kind of talent.
Right. I think, and we talked about it on Friday, where it's like, do you want to add starters or do you want to add stars? And obviously you want to add stars, but I don't know how many are going to be available in this draft. It seems like the group of star-level players, guys that could be future All-Pros in this draft, it's not super obvious the way it has been in past drafts with guys like, Aiden Hutchinson at the top of a draft or something like that, where it's like, that guy's going to be a star.
That guy's going places.
Yeah, that guy's absolutely going to make a name for himself in this league. This team is in it has a real big need for superstar level play, and they just don't have that. And it's funny because when I think of like superstars, I think of like the players that they put on graphics of like,
what you're
promoting. Like
promoting.
Monday Night Football next week. It's going to be so-and-so or it's going to be like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens taking on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Tune in. Who are they going to say that about the Seahawks right now?
It would probably be Darnold.
Yeah. And I mean, Darnold is not exactly somebody who people are going to be tuning in for.
But in theory, your best players are like what? Devin Witherspoon and Leonard Williams? Are they gonna? They're not putting them up there.
No, they're not.
Which is a shame.
Maybe
JSN, maybe.
Is Cooper Kupp maybe the most famous name on this roster?
If the Seahawks' first game of the season is the Rams, they will use Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I wonder if that game gets nationally televised, Rams, Seahawks in L.A.
It should. Hopefully it goes better than the last time the Seahawks opened a season against the Rams.
Yeah, I try to forget that, but
I know.
I just, there is just so little star power outside of like who we know here in Seattle. Like I'm thinking of just a casual NFL fan looking at the Seahawks roster and being like, okay, they won 10 games last year, but like, who should I pay attention to? Like
It's how
who
I
should
feel
I
about the
who should I
Cardinals.
care about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardinals, at least you can say Kyler Murray and
Yeah.
maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, Trey McBride's good, but he's not
Buddha.
somebody that people are going to tune in for. Like,
Yeah.
But here in Seattle, it has been. It makes you wonder, or it makes you kind of realize, like the way that those 2012 and 2013 teams and 2014 teams were built. Like, how in the world were they able to acquire that much talent?
Well, and I like Bob adding that context of like, look, I covered that team. I've covered every team since. And I'm paraphrasing what Bob said, but each passing year makes it more clear how rare it is to get that kind of talent together.
Yeah.
And instead, we talked for years afterward about like, you know, you're adding another Legion of Boom. Here's your next Michael Bennett. Here's your this, as though you can just go to the store and get another pack of toilet paper. And it's like, no, like we might be able to attach the label of he's just like Marshawn Lynch. Look at Thomas Rawls go.
Yeah.
Thomas Rawls, as special as his year was and as surprising as an undrafted rookie, that's not, it didn't
not
stick.
Marshawn.
You know what I mean? Like you can find these little similarities. Oh, he's really physical. Oh, this defense is quick. Oh, like, you know, they got this versatile safety as part of this trade. It's not the same because it is nearly impossible to replicate that. And I think that to me, much like Bob, my answer is top line talent. Like, what do you do? What do you do better than almost anyone else in the league right now? Genuinely, what does Seattle do where you go, oh, they do that better than anyone? I'm taking them there. I don't know. I don't know a single thing.
Yeah, there is not a facet of the game right now that I look at and I'm like, yeah, the Seahawks are
Like they got you there.
they are going to be better than you at this every single game. At the end of the season, I mean, their defense played a lot better than they did at the start of the season, but again, like they weren't a top 5 defense. They weren't even a top 10 defense overall this last season, but they did make enough strides to where you're kind of like, okay, this is on track to be, you know, pretty good going forward. And that's maybe why you bring in Mike McDonald, because his Ravens defenses were the best in the league. They were ones that, you know, the Seahawks, when they talk about that game against Baltimore, were like, we had no idea what we were seeing. Like that, we've never been more confused going up against a defense than we were that day. So maybe Mike McDonald is the guy that can get this defense to play to that level. Now, if you think, or I think once you get your defense playing to that level, then I think it can really, you know, make the ceiling of this team go up, because I think you still have to have a great defense in order to be a championship level football team. The Chiefs have had some defenses that left a little to be desired, but they still have Chris Jones. They still have, Trent McDuffie in their secondary. They've had L'Jarius Sneed in years past.
Their last Super Bowl win was
Nick Bolton's a pretty good linebacker.
the defense got them there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that they are kind of chasing this ghost of the 2013 Seahawks, but I kind of wonder if comparing yourself to that team is kind of like an impossible task
Like
for
a
any
losing
team.
effort.
Right. Like you're very, like we've very rarely seen a team that talented. What was it? Who had that list after the Eagles won the Super Bowl this last year that was like, these are the top Super Bowl winning teams? Was it our boy Aaron Schatz?
That seems like something he'd put
Yeah,
together.
where it was like the Seahawks in 2013 were the best Super Bowl team of like the last 25 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And like they were so ridiculously good.
What's the curse of that?
I just kind of think you're not ever going to be able to replicate that. Like the reason why that team is so good is because we've hardly ever seen that ever again. Some people pointing out that the punting on the 2025 Seahawks is better than 2013.
Dude, it's everywhere. And I think
It's true. Michael Dixon. I think,
you make such a good point about when you do it once, because you did it, because you constructed the team, because those players went out there and did it.
Right.
You can almost fool yourself into thinking, oh, I did it once, I can do it again. It's like this improbable, impossible trick shot that you pull off one time on camera, and then you can never, ever do again, because it was the perfect timing, perfect execution, perfect everything, lots of preparation, and then a little bit of luck. And like the stars aligned for building that roster. So how do you build that up now? And that's where I like where this exercise goes. Like, okay, what if there was, where do you see the potential of something being added? Like, let's go to the text line when I was like, hey, compare and contrast these two things. Like, what's the most obvious difference? Someone said a leader.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That team had a ton of vocal leaders.
Yeah.
Especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Maybe like edge.
Oh, yeah. There was a way that team carried itself that I've never seen a team before or after. Just the confidence that they had in themselves each and every game. Obviously, Sherman was the most vocal guy on that defense side of the ball, but you had Bobby's, quiet, steady self. Earl, you knew he was going to do his job. Cam was, somebody that everybody on that defense respected. KJ, somebody who had put a decade into the league at the end of his career, all here in Seattle, except for that one season with the Raiders. But I think the leadership of that team certainly is a big difference. And it was a leadership that, I don't think Pete ever had to ask anybody to have a difficult conversation, maybe until after they lost that Super Bowl, because when you win, everything you're doing works and whatnot. But it felt like those guys really took the onus week after week, and Pete just kind of let them do their thing because they were responsible enough to do that, and they had the production to back it up.
They're not going to, unfortunately, I hate to say this for everyone, I don't think that the 2025 draft class is going to have Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson. I know they weren't all part of the same class, but I don't think you're coming away with every single answer this year.
No.
You are coming away getting younger. Curtis, is there something where when you look back at that class, you might see in this version? I know I asked the opposite to start, and we've spent 15 minutes saying what's missing. Is there something you see that is here where you go, we'll see what they do with that?
I think
like a youth movement, maybe? Or?
Potentially. I mean, you've got good young players in Witherspoon and JSN. That's a start. I think maybe the brain power of the coaching staff is there, the way it was when Pete Carroll first started, where they had just all sorts of future defensive coordinators and future head coaches on that side of the ball. I think Mike Macdonald seems like a guy who wants to keep improving. He's young, so obviously there's going to be that from him that you probably would not see from a coach that's had 4 or 5 different head coaching stops in the league before, where it's well, this worked for me. When I was head coach of the Chargers, blah blah blah. It's no, this is his first time doing this, and I think he wants to show people yeah, I am worthy of this. I mean, a 10-win season's a really good start to a coaching career. I think that is something that is working in the Seahawks' favor, is just kind of his drive and the brain power of this coaching staff, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, boy, I mean, there's a lot to work with if they want to get to playing a Super Bowl caliber type offense.
All right. Well, I love this conversation. We will see what kind of moves they make heading into the draft. Right now, let's get to a very quick 4-down territory.
This is 4-down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Stacy, first down to you. This NFL draft is giving what?
It's giving trade back. It's giving boring. It's giving role players. It's giving foundation. This is a draft in which you're going to find a lot of guys that aren't going to come in and be first team all-pro, rookie season, Brock Bowers high. What's going on? This is going to be you ended up getting a really good, Kobe Bryant. Wow, what a contributor. What a really cool rookie season, with low expectations because maybe he's a 4th rounder or whatever. I think that this is going to be a draft where the Seahawks start to continue to build up that foundation. I'd love to see them add a lot of young names to the competition in the trenches on the offensive line. I would love to see that from this class. However, one thing that's changed from our first iteration of 4-down territory, what if this NFL draft for the Seahawks is giving surprise at 18? Now, I didn't think it was. I really am heading into this draft going, I'm probably going to be kind of bored. But Bob Condotta was on with us earlier, and we asked him, hey, what's the biggest difference between this year's team and the Super Bowl team? And he said top line talent. But then he said it's why for him, he thinks undoubtedly they'll need to go with the best available talent at 18. What if it's a safety? Okay, well then you get a great safety on this roster. And so maybe we get a little bit of a surprise. He might have them going defense early, and that would be giving fun.
Second down. Stacy, the position you do not want to see the Seahawks take at 18 is?
Run away from running back. You got to walk before you can run, no pun intended. I know that this team wants to improve its run game. I also know that John Schneider loves this draft class for running backs. He called it rare talent. However, the Seahawks were not a bad rushing offense because Ken Walker doesn't know how to run the ball or Zach Charbonnet doesn't know how to run the ball or because neither of them are talented. I know that Ken could have been healthier. Maybe Zach gets some reps earlier in the season and we see a different latter half of the season for him. But you need to fix the interior of this offensive line, not add more halfbacks. So get interior linemen and then try to get the most out of those day 2 picks. Now, would I love to see them come away with a running back? 1,000%. Maybe that ends up being like a round 3 guy, round 4 guy.
Third down. Earlier, we talked about athletes who can change the narrative with a championship. What is a local example of a non-athlete who can change your narrative?
I think John Schneider might be a good example. I know so often when we do focus on, a coach or a non-player, still that relationship that person has with that player. Bill Belichick, for instance, non-player, but it's about his relationship with Tom Brady. Was it Tom? Was it Bill? There's not really that equivalent for John, but I kind of look at it as, okay, it was Pete and John and everything they built here, and now it's just John. And I think that he can prove a lot by building up another great team. Maybe he gets back to a Super Bowl in a year or two. Maybe he brings in some All-Pros. I just think that there's this early part of his career with Pete that we just talked about for 15 minutes, highlighted by these knock it out of the park, A-plus home run draft classes that led you to a Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowl appearances and a ring to come away with that. And then you were competitive but not elite for a while. If you can get to an elite level again or bring in great talent or be incredibly competitive again without everyone else around you, I think that does a lot for John's legacy. I think it would be cool to see.
Fourth down. What is a sports take pet peeve you have?
I know this is me being nitpicky. I will admit that it's petty. But it's when someone refuses to acknowledge that someone is a good athlete or really special or whatever because you don't like them as a person. So I know that it can be eye roll inducing for someone to say, separate art from artist. And that's not necessarily what I'm doing. But this was actually inspired by a texter, thank you for listening, who earlier said, the guys that don't win rings are bums, like Cam Newton. Basically, Cam Newton was never good. And I just thought, look, you probably don't like Cam Newton as a person.
Yeah,
and I get it. Personal. Like he seems very egocentric. He seems,
You put Cam Newton on the 2013 Seahawks.
Yes,
They're
and
never
he'll
losing
fit
a
right
game.
in. Like
Yeah.
he is a lot of personality, and that will be polarizing, and I totally get it. Cam Newton is also one of the best athletes I've ever seen in person. And I would just caution people against thinking like, because I don't like this person, because he annoys me, that it means whatever we saw was flukish. Nope. He was a really, really, really good quarterback for a period of time. Then he got hurt. Then that team fell apart. Then whatever else happened. But like, I think we sometimes just think, same thing with Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson bombed with Denver. Therefore, Russell Wilson's time with Seattle winning a Super Bowl, he had nothing to do with that. Nope, wrong. Go back and watch 2013 highlights from Russell Wilson. You are going to see a quarterback that were he here as a second-year player, you would be exceptionally excited about. Like, you don't get to ex post facto go back and rewrite the history of someone just because you don't really like the version they are now. So shout out that version of Cam Newton. Shout out that version of Russell Wilson. They were ballers, period. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
Extra Innings is back
We're
from
back.
7 to 9 p.m.
Said
on
it couldn't
Seattle
be done.
Sports.
We're back.
Wow, it feels like it was just
3 days ago.
Just Thursday.
It was Thursday.
Just
Yeah,
Thursday
quick
that you were
turnaround.
hosting Extra Innings. It's another one. Instead of me reading, do you want to say what we've got in store tonight at 7 p.m.?
We've got Mike Lefko at 7:15.
Okay.
At
Surprise
8
guest,
o'clock.
Mike Lefko.
Ooh. Wow.
Stop it,
wow.
Matt. Wow.
We've got Baseball America's J.J. Cooper at 8 o'clock. And then at 8:30, the Athletics see Trent Rosecrans.
For
He
a
covers
preview
the
of the Reds. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, nice. What I need to know coming your way at 45 after. Get your questions in 866-979-3776.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike Macdonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Music that moves your soul. Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Transforming your land with a John Deere compact tractor is as easy as connect, latch, load, haul, spread. Cutting grass is as simple as roll, click, mow. Box blading is as effortless as hook, lock, grade. And backhoeing is as convenient as turn around, switch, dig. Because when you've got the versatility to tackle just about any job and dealer support in your own backyard, you just have to get in the seat. Find the right compact tractor for you at johndeere.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only. Take up to $3,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What I need to know coming your way in 15. Get your questions into the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. I got some potential quarterback questions, draft questions. You can send non-sports questions, whatever you want. 866-979-3776. You got 15. Get those in now. We're going to have maybe the most important conversation of the day. We're going to rank Seahawks uniforms. This was inspired by a conversation we had. God, was it during, we were talking, it was in NFL headlines about the Cowboys. Is that when we were talking about it?
Yeah, best uniforms.
Yeah, and I said the Cowboys had like a top 3, potentially even number 1 NFL uniform. And whatever your thoughts on the Cowboys, I think that they have the best uniforms in football. You know, given that it's a Monday at 1:30, we thought what better conversation to have than the most important one we could possibly have.
Right.
We're officially ranking Seahawks
Well, and
uniforms.
everybody's got the strongest takes on this.
Throw in Mariners unis if you want to. We might get to those. We might not be done with these hot, flaming hot takes.
Right.
Okay, Curtis. I can already tell you what the worst one is, but I'll let you take it away.
Worst Seahawks uniform ever?
Yeah. There's an obvious answer.
Well, it might not be the version you're thinking of.
Okay.
The worst one ever was the original action green. The one,
where the sleeves?
The one worn in the 2009 season against the Chicago Bears. The action green with the dark navy pants. I don't think Bump played in that game, so I don't think he has an action green photo of himself. But I think Seneca Wallace was the starting quarterback that day. They lost to the Bears. It was the game where Jim Mora threw Alindo Mare under the bus for missing a couple of kicks in that game. That, to me, is the worst Seahawks uniform. You know what's great?
Oh.
I own a John Carlson jersey from not from that day, but definitely from that season in that style of action green.
I'll say this. You're correct.
Yeah.
The thing about these action green, just search Seneca Wallace action green. The thing about these Seahawks jerseys is it looks like a practice, like it looks like when you have the red don't touch the quarterback jerseys on over stuff that you're practicing in. It looks like they are all wearing muscle tees over navy blue jerseys and uniforms. That's what it looks like. That they have put on a green muscle tee t-shirt tank over a regular Seahawks uniform.
You know what's funny is that Edgerrin James, who is in the Hall of Fame and is one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, up until recently, his Wikipedia page was him in a Seahawks action green jersey from that game.
I would contact Wikipedia and have them.
I believe it got changed recently to him in a Colts uniform, which is what he's obviously known for. But yeah, that Seahawks jersey to me, and that whole era of Seahawks jerseys, woof. That was some brutal looks. The Reebok teams, yuck.
My original selection for worst is not necessarily a popular one. I know there are some people where this is their favorite, but it's like the Millennium Blue. So the Matt Hasselbeck era, that kind of like, it's not navy, it's the blue of a brand new Chevy Malibu. That is the blue of this jersey. If you
Yes.
imagine a blue Chevy Malibu, that is the color of these Seahawks uniforms.
Mhm.
They're mostly all that color. I don't know why I hate them. It's because it feels early 2000s. It feels boring. It's giving nothing. I hate those jerseys.
Well, and
It's the one Bump has.
Yeah. And we thought that at the time, especially when they went from the silver helmets to the blue helmets, we were kind of like, oh, man, this is going to be, like, revolutionary. Like, these are going to be the jerseys of the future.
This is going to change everything.
And after a few years, it's kind of like, okay, this is enough. I wonder if they would have stuck around with those jerseys longer if they had won the Super Bowl in 05.
Yes.
Because I feel like when you win big in a certain uniform style, it gets remembered more fondly than if you had lost.
I think you should share your off-air take on the current Seahawks uniforms.
My off-air take on the current Seahawks uniforms are that if they had not won immediately out of the gate with those, then they probably would have switched them up by now.
Yeah.
But since they won a Super Bowl within, I think, 2 years of
It was early,
debuting those
'cause you
jerseys.
can still find pictures of like Earl Thomas.
Yeah,
other-
Earl and Sherm
Yeah.
wore the
Yeah.
midnight blue for a year or two. But yeah, I think if they had not won early on, we probably would see different. We would probably see different Seahawks jerseys. It's kind of why I think the Mariners haven't changed their look up much over the last 30 some odd years, because they won right away after changing it. I think it was 93 when they changed to the teal and blue. And
The logic behind that is
95.
failing me on this one because they had not won since.
Right, but
So
hey.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't check out. The math isn't mathing for me.
Yes, it has gone past the
You ended up-
acceptable time frame.
You won and then lost the subsequent 22 seasons.
Sure.
And thought, I don't know if we toss them yet. Let's give it another go.
Best Seahawks jerseys of all time. It's hard to go against the throwbacks.
It is the throwbacks and obviously the.
But that's also kind of the opposite of my theory, is that some of the worst Seahawk football ever was played in those throwback uniforms.
Sure, but
they
how
look
cool
great.
did they
yeah,
look?
they look sleek. They
You
look
know?
incredible.
It's like
I do love, like, I don't know what it is about the silver helmets, but
Yeah.
they like sparkle when the light hits.
Everything
It's
about it is
cool.
awesome. But you know what? I also think it's because of the era we're in now. Like
Everything's cool when
In
you look back at the
2000, no, I'm just saying, like, there is a young people like Gen Z and into millennials like also just love retro. Like that look is cool again. I don't think we love the Seahawks throwbacks as much if it's 2010.
Right.
Because it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
cool yet. It wasn't cool.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to be sharp and cutting edge.
Yeah.
And curvy. You know, like millennial, like that kind of early aughts. Like everything was like curved and modern.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like retro is cool now, but
Yeah,
the throwbacks are number one for sure.
When you say everything's curved in that era, I think of like those Macs that
Yeah.
came in the neon colors.
Oh, I wanted one so
I also
bad.
think of my parents' 99 Ford Taurus, where everything was like circular.
Everything
and
is curvy.
Curved, yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling
that
you.
was a weird car.
Anyways, that is absolutely the number one, and I hope that they get to wear them for even more games this year because they just look awesome. And yeah, it's just I have.
You can wear them up to 4 times now. The
I know.
NFL increased that
And-
that number.
And I hope that they win every single one of those games. And I my thoughts on the current iteration, like the current main, like navy blue with action green highlight Seahawks uni, you know, maybe throw in like different colored pants, is like inoffensive. It doesn't bother me. It's not my favorite uniform in football. It's just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't hate it, but I love the throwbacks.
You can't go wrong with them this time of year or at any point. Like I think they really hit it out of the park with those. As for the Mariners, worst Mariner uniform ever, probably something from like the early days, like in the 70s with the trident. Best, I think the vest uniforms in the 90s. So it was like the current jerseys, but they cut off the sleeves and had like navy long sleeves with it. I think those looked really, really clean.
That's a great answer for best. For
Yeah.
worst, I know many, 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 many people have come around. Okay. Many people have changed their mind on this. I still don't like the City Connect.
Oh.
I don't.
I think it'd look better with different color pants.
Well, absolutely. The black pants and sleeves are what totally throws it off for me. But and I typically like the stark, like the yellow with the royal blue, but the City Connect jerseys, I'm not a fan. I don't love it.
I like the jersey. I don't like the pants.
I'm glad that we had this important conversation. I will say you had at least one person disagreeing with you on the Mac and Jack's text line saying you're absolutely insane.
Thank you.
And there's no way they're talking about the old Action Green jerseys. They must be talking about something else. You must have said something else that I can't remember.
There are no good memories that come with those jerseys.
No, there's no way that someone was like, that's the best version. That's it for me.
Yeah.
That's just wrong. They must be talking about something else. I need to go back and listen. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
The first real opportunity for Mike Macdonald to build this team in the image he really wants.
With 5 of the first 100 picks.
Are you kidding me?
What are the biggest needs?
It might be too early to take a guard in the first round.
And nobody is taking you deeper inside Seahawks HQ on draft day with General Manager John Schneider live at 4 p.m.
What you do here matters.
Next Thursday, only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports, the app, and your smart speaker.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-303-1219. 800-303-1219. 800-303-1219.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in to the Mac and Jacks text line 866-979-3776. What I need to know. We were all talking about whether or not the Seahawks will still take a quarterback. Let's say, says this listener, that Jalen Milroe slips to the third round. Would you take him then?
At pick 92, I'd think about it. But before then, probably not.
No, but he's projected to be day 2, so at that point, you're kind of, you might be getting
projected to be day 2. Accepted a green room invite on day 1, though.
Yeah.
That has me kind of like, what's going on?
How long are you allowed to stay in the green room? Like, can you get to round 6 and you're just chilling in the green room?
I think they might ask you to go home.
You got to go. No one's here. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Mike Salk threw out a pregame pitch up in Everett on Saturday. Would you rather throw out a first pitch or sing the national anthem?
First pitch.
First pitch. Yeah.
I thought you would sing the national anthem.
I thought about it, but I think that I would panic and forget the words. And every time people do that, I think, I get it. You don't think that you would do it.
It's a hard song.
It's just anytime you see people mess up things, flip words, say the wrong thing, stumble over something live, you have to understand, like, it happens to everyone.
Right. It's one of those songs that you've heard so many times that you don't even think about it. But then when you're put on the spot, it's like, can you
but you know
say
I'd
it
crush
all the
it.
way through? Yeah.
It would be
You'd go on all those Mariah Carey runs.
Whitney, me, Gap, everyone else. And it
Ariana
would be,
Grande. Yeah.
Oh, say.
Bombs were
and
you.
Let's play some basketball.
Oh, Fergie.
Get your questions in. What I need to know. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of Seattle coaches? Ooh, that's a good one.
That was a good one. I'd go
There's been great
Pete
coaches.
Carroll. Yeah, I'd put him on there. I'd go Lou Piniella. Probably Don James.
I was going to say.
And then a fourth, Lenny Wilkens. Led the Sonics to their title. I think that's a good
solid
4.
Mount Rushmore. You're covering your bases. It's a 6-hour flight to Hawaii, says one listener. How many times are you using the bathroom on the plane? Plane
At least
bathrooms are
twice.
the worst.
Yeah.
I think probably 3 times. Because I don't sleep on flights. I really try. So instead, I just eat.
The Hawaii
Drink.
flight is a different kind of
I'm just gonna drink
long
too much
flight
water.
because you're so excited that you're going to get there. Like, you don't really sleep on that flight. But I'm just doing the math in my head. I mean, how many airline passengers are on a flight that long, and how many times is everybody using the bathroom? Like,
Too much
that's
for me to think
lot.
about.
That's a
Too much.
ton of bathroom usage in that short amount of time.
What I need to know, what was a TV show back in the day that you just couldn't miss?
Could not miss.
Maybe it was and still is Survivor for you.
I think so.
Yeah. It's been on for
Yeah.
23 years?
I think 25, actually. Back in the day, you couldn't miss like SportsCenter or Baseball Tonight or anything because that was like your only way to get news
Isn't
on
that weird?
What teams were doing outside of your own market.
I was thinking how weird it is that you used to be like, maybe you had no idea exactly how many hits someone had in another game or what was going on with another team until you opened the paper and you were like, let me check that box score. And you talked about checking the box scores. Like, how weird is that?
I know. Now I can just look at my phone and I've got everybody's stats
Immediately.
for years and years and years ready to go.
What I need to know, why haven't the Mariners signed J.D. Martinez?
Adam Jude kind of sniffed around on that, and he said on Twitter over the weekend that it was not close to happening. Like, there was nothing on that front.
What are your thoughts on that?
That there's nothing on that front?
That it's not happening. Are you disappointed, not surprised?
I'm not surprised. Now, let's say somebody else goes down. Then it's like, okay, there's this guy who can mash that is available. You just got to pay whatever price that he's asking for. But this time of year, there's just very little player movement in terms of like free agency, in terms of trades. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
What I need to know, I like this question, 2 parts. 1, are you obligated to get a nicer gift on milestone birthdays? 30, 40, 18, 50, whatever. And this listener says, should I adjust what I get for someone when I always seem to give a nicer gift?
Ooh. I don't think milestone birthdays call for a better present. I mean, I haven't hit like the big one, like 40 or 50 or anything like that, so I don't know what gift giving is like at that age, but I did not expect anything big on my 18th or my 21st or my 30th.
What about the
like
second one of, should you adjust what you give when you never seem to get as nice of presents from that person? Like, if you're always giving them, clearly spending more on them, more thought, more money, more time, more effort than they give you. My answer is yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Gift giving, though, maybe shouldn't be conditional so much, but if you're routinely outspending them by like hundreds of dollars, then sure, back it off a bit.
Well, and I would just think, like, let's say it's not even like, oh, they're more selfish and I'm more giving and I don't want to give that much. It might be that that's all they can give you, or that that's just how they see your guys' friendship. And it might be uncomfortable for them if they're constantly getting like, oh God, like I only got this person a card and some, I don't know, like some food or something. Yeah, I would for sure adjust.
There's nothing worse than showing up to someone's birthday party and seeing
everyone brought gifts. Seeing
how big every gift is that they've brought, and you're kind of like, well, I got you this Amazon gift card. Yeah, $50.
What I need to know, is it officially shorts weather this week? I have the forecast, just so you know. It's going to be.
See a 70 on this?
No, but there's a 68.
I think you can pull off shorts on
Friday
on a
is 68 and sunny.
Everything else, low 60s. That's not shorts weather for me. But Friday at 68, yeah, you can pull off shorts. I'll tell you what season it is, though.
Yeah.
It's definitely basketball shorts around the house season rather than sweatpants. That's what I'm on right now.
Yeah. What I need to know, I like this one. What are questions you see on the text toy but don't ask on air? I'm sure wrestling is one of them.
We do get a few every now and then. WrestleMania this weekend. I know you guys are excited, just like I am.
No, me and Matt are super excited.
Saturday and Sunday?
No, we know.
Oh,
we
man.
Can't wait to see Crusher out there. No, he's going to do great.
He's going to do so good.
He's the dark match.
Yeah,
that's the one that's not
he's going to
televised.
get his third consecutive belt.
Wow. Cody Rhodes out there. John Cena turned heel, you guys.
Yeah.
God, don't you just hate when a dude does that?
Yeah.
Right?
I hate it.
425 says, I give off the vibe that I wear shorts year-round. Do I? I don't feel like I'm a shorts year-round kind of guy.
What is that vibe?
I know who is a shorts year-round kind
Who?
of guy. Matt Nelson.
Matt.
Yeah, he is.
And you know what? I give off that energy. I hate that I do, but it's accurate.
It's okay. Make sure you check out the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or SeattleSports.com. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years? Like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models. Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Goodbye, winter mud. Hello, Dream Yard. Spring is here. Synthetic Turf Northwest has you covered. No more soggy lawns or weekend yard work. Just green, clean, and ready for backyard barbecues, wiffle ball, or kicking back. Synthetic Turf Northwest, the area leader in synthetic grass, residential and commercial installs, plus turf supplies out of our Woodinville warehouse, and soon in Fife, right off I-5. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com today.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Thursday, April 24th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him Thursday, April 24th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Listen to this. Orchard puts cash right in your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number one. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom! Payday number two. Learn how much you could make with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cybersecurity must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination